hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like, I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely.
These questions, you can't be doing that.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you comparing Eddie Murphy and Dave Chappelle, where I'm Team Chappelle. At this point, I think he's the greatest stand-up comedian ever. Stand-up comedian.
I don't think so.
Right? So, and you saying you don't think so, right?
Nah.
So, and I'm saying I think he checked every box. Does Eddie Murphy have more stand-up comedy specials than Dave Chappelle?
Nah, because Eddie had what? He had Raw and Delirious.
That's it. And that's it. Raw and Delirious is all that.
But that was benchmark. And then he's like, yo, he got the Hollywood money.
Yeah, but we talking stand-up. And I feel like what y'all Eddie Murphy people do, y'all do them like
Eddie
what
Murphy
the Biggie people do. Yeah. I feel like, I love Eddie Murphy. But I feel like what the Eddie Murphy is the GOAT people do is like what big people do. They take 2 albums and compare it to people who drop like 15. Dave Chappelle got like 12 stand-up specials at this point.
How many of them you actually remember?
Every single one of them. Like Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Like
he has 11 hour-long specials. 11. Dave Chappelle has 11 hour-long
I was
specials.
close.
It's a different era though. The streaming era, you just push out content like it's nothing.
He tours. Dave Chappelle tours.
I think you got recency bias, man.
But you know what? Eddie Murphy is a classic comedian. Dave Chappelle is a today's comedian. He's not afraid to speak on the controversial topics and bring up things and actually hit reality where it's at right now. I don't know if Eddie Murphy's more classic, more family oriented.
Dave's sitting on a couple million. He just like, I got money. I can say what the hell I want. So cancel me, please.
The craziest thing is when I went to see Dave yesterday, like his jokes, they were like super recent. Like as of like, he was talking about things that happened a week ago. Like he was talking about being in Saudi Arabia. He was talking about things that happened like 2-3 days ago. And I like Dave because I feel like he's a really good writer. Like I feel like he write the best. But like for him to talk about things that just happened and it be just as funny as if like we was watching a touring special from him, I was like, oh man, he really the man.
Mm-hmm.
Then want me to tell you something else he got over Eddie, I think.
You get attempt? Yeah, okay.
I think he's a better writer than Eddie. I think he's the best closer that comedy has ever saw. Mm-hmm. Like his closing, like whatever he does at the end of his show, the way he closes it, I think is better than anybody. It's not even funny no more. Like it ain't even no jokes anymore.
I'm pulling something out there. If Damon Wayans wants to be like, yo, I'm in my bag. I'm focused on stand-up.
You potting for this. You potting for the sake of potting, bro. Like
what?
Yeah.
I want to respect you, but I can't. And I'm going to tell you why. Because
you Damon Wayans to Dave Chappelle?
What I'm saying, if Damon Wayans was focused on, yo, I'm just going to be a stand-up comedian as my primary.
Yeah.
I think but that's my opinion. You call me crazy, but
That's like saying you just not a Chappelle. To go
down.
No,
I like Dave, but lately
to go all the way down to Damon.
That's not material. You're just talking.
Nah. So this is what he did yesterday, right? So hey, for the listeners, I went to see Dave Chappelle last night. The Clips was there. Earthquake was there. Donnell Rawlins was there, who I didn't know was in the military. He was in the Air Force. He actually worked on J. So it was kind of dope being in DC. And then Earthquake from DC. Dave is from DC. What Dave did was half of his show was all jokes, like straight up comedy. Like he started out talking about how he owned the town that he lived in, Ohio. He just keep buying and buying stuff. Then he went into like it was jokes, like straight up super funny. Then he ended with a closer that was like 30 minutes long. And it was about everything from like Charlie Kirk to Jack Johnson to Puff to Nipsey to T.I. to Martin Luther King and how John McCain didn't vote for Martin's birthday, but then he lost to Obama like on Martin's birthday. It was this crazy connection thing that Eddie never did, that Richard never done, that none of those comedians ever did, where you take historical, cultural things and you put them all together and you find a way to mesh this into your comedy. Nobody did that. He's the only one that has done that.
So did Courtney?
What?
No, I'm just saying, like, I definitely agree. I'm just saying.
Courtney agrees.
I agree.
If you put Richard Pryor in the shooter, he might do the same thing.
you couldn't really get into all that political stuff. People were, a little scared just because of the situation and how it was then. But now it's like, hey, free speech is free speech. I mean, people want to say what they want to say.
And I had Rich up there. I had Rich up there for a long time, but I think at this point, if I keep saying it's Rich, Richard Pryor is great. If I keep saying it's Rich at this point, I'm stupid. Like, it's Dave now. He's the GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Aaron. Aaron is the contrarian, man. Contrarian.
Contrarian Aaron?
He went down in the depths of comedy and found Damon Wayans, bro, who I've never even seen do a stand-up. Like he found Damon Wayans. Have you ever watched a Damon stand-up? Like, you sat and watched a Damon stand-up, bro?
Yes. I never have.
Yeah, like, what's the name of it?
I don't know.
Like, what you talking about? Was he on Def Comedy Jam, or did he have an hour special?
It was on Showtime back in the day. The cat go on. You know what I'm saying? I remember.
He was on a late night joint with 5 other comedians. They gave him a 12-minute slot.
He's one of the first families of comedy. Respect that man, yo.
Hey, so look, we are joined, man, again by the great Courtney Barber.
Oh, Lord.
I read the book. Retired AZCM, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, it's a lot I want to get into. I'm not even going to start that it's the Navy birthday, because I want to go to Portuguese Love in 1999 and A school, like, waking up to Portuguese Love. Like, yo, what was my man?
My stories. Listen, I can tell you so many stories.
You got to be a different type of smooth to throw Portuguese Love on in 1999, bro. And then that's like a 7.5-minute song.
That's what I woke up to in the middle of the night.
And you had to act like you was still asleep.
Woo, dead in the casket. I'm telling you, like, don't move, shallow breathing. Just, oh my goodness, what is happening? Oh my God. You want me to tell you the story?
You a music head too, huh?
I am. I definitely, when I tell you music, like, no kidding, before I even logged into here, I had my phone playing. Like, I was like, oh, let me put my music up before I log in. I do love music. It is soothing for me, no matter what it is.
You a coffee head too, huh?
Very much so. Key to my heart.
Coffee head or a coffee snob?
Both. You can't just give me any kind of coffee. Like, Tiff loves that breakfast blend, Food Line brand. It don't matter if it's breakfast. Nah, you're not gonna give me no breakfast blend. I just, I gotta feel my coffee. Like, I gotta.
You know how I know you're a coffee head?
Why?
I was reading a book, and for y'all to get the Portuguese Love reference, y'all gotta read the book. I don't get too deep there. But I was reading your book, and damn near every chapter, you like, so wake up, pour the coffee. You're like, I'm at work first. I got my coffee.
Gotta get my coffee.
Like, yo, she gotta be a coffee head. Man.
I am. I love a good cup of coffee. Like, I don't care what time of day it is. I don't care what the weather is outside. I love a good cup of coffee. Like, I do.
What's your favorite, like, brand of coffee?
Well, I can tell you the number one coffee for me, like, the world is, I have two. The Georgia coffee that's in Japan. That just, whew. Oh, yeah. And then the Turkish coffee. Those, even though, you only get like a shot, it's a reason why you only get a shot. Turkish coffee and that Georgia brand coffee from Japan. Those are my favorite.
Yeah. You tried Vietnamese coffee yet?
I have not.
That's the move.
Okay. If I ever make it to Vietnam, I don't know. But yeah.
Nah, go to a far spot. They get the condensed milk. They drip it real heavy, right? It's just, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not. They dripping real. I'm not. They dripping real heavy. Yeah, I'm good. We good. They dripping real heavy, dog. I got it.
Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah, try Vietnamese coffee next on your coffee journey.
On my bucket list. I got it. I got you.
Yes.
So Aaron started up this like low key like pause game on here that I would have never wanted to do. I never would have wanted to do something that immature. But Aaron started it, and it's kind of hard to stop.
It's kind of hard, really? Say again. What? What are you saying, man?
All right, let's officially put it to bed. Look, that ain't even right. That ain't even right.
Oh my God!
Let's officially just go cut this one out. Hey, Courtney, so it ain't been that long since the last time you was on here with her.
No, it's been like a couple of months, was it July, August time frame?
Yeah. But that time, it was kind of like, I think you saved us that time. Like we were like in the jam. We reached out to you. You was able to come on, jump on.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about a lot of cultural stuff, some stuff that was going on in the Navy. I know we were talking about Angelina Resendez a lot. Rest her soul, and more developments from that case. And then we got into some other stuff. But this time I want to talk a little bit about you.
Okay.
This time, highlight you, your life, your career. I just finished your book, Unapologetically Favored.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, I just finished that book this morning, actually. I finished it. I finished. So it's the fastest book I read this year.
Right.
Right? So I guess you published it originally in 99, right? I mean, not 99, 2019, right?
Yes, I think I started writing it in 2018, or was it 2018? One of them years. But it was back then.
So sometime between, when I was listening to the credits, it said like 2019, the original credits, and then the audio book came out in 2023.
Right.
Right?
Yep, because
so it's the fastest. Oh, yeah?
What was it?
He was pressing me about doing an ebook, an e-read, an ebook, and I was like, I'm not doing that. But then it just so happened during that time that my publishing company had a partnership with the audiobook company down in Atlanta. And so I was able to hook up with them and get it done here in Virginia Beach at a recording studio. So, yeah, if it wouldn't have been for him, I probably wouldn't have done the online audiobook.
I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you did it, because I do audiobooks for the most part. And like, so a bunch of people give me, because they like, yeah, you do books, he always in books. But it's mostly audiobooks. So even when people send me their books, I'm like holding it till they, I'm like, yo, when you gonna put the audio out? And then after they put the audio out, I read it. But so two things. It's the fastest book that I got through this year. This has been my slowest year of consumption for books, right? I had to look at Aaron for a second to make sure we was done that, right? But yeah, so this has been my slowest year of consumption. It's also my favorite book this year. Is my favorite book that I read this year.
I'm honored.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And for the listeners, they know I read. We had a book club going a while ago. And the reason why this is my favorite book, you really stepped in your truth for a lot of this book. I think the very last thing you said when you got back on. So first off, you had a narrator that was incredible.
Yeah, that process is crazy, writing books, when they offer you different sample voices of who can capture the people. And I thought she could capture all the attitude and everything that I was trying to, give within the book. She did a good job.
Yeah, she did it. She ain't mispronounced too much Navy stuff either. Like she did one thing. I think she blundered like one word, but it wasn't even that bad. It sounded more like accentish. But then you jump back, like I said, you kind of stepped in your truth. So at the end of it, you was like, I'm proud to say, and I was in the shower. You was like, I'm proud to say I'm a lesbian, a woman, and a chief. I was like, she
all
living
caps.
Yeah. I was like, that the way I was like, it was pronounced clear. Like she living in her truth for real.
That's why I said a woman, a leader, a testimony. That's what my whole tag is up under the title, just so that people understand, like, I'm a woman, I was a leader, I am a leader, and then this is my testimony.
Yeah. And then you started out the book saying, like, you're not the only one, right?
Nope.
Like, I think that was like how you dedicated, like, to the listener, like, hey, you're not the only one this for everybody that think they the only one
right
dealing with this, the only one that's dealing with that, the only one. And that happens a lot. That definitely happens a lot. And I want to go back to Fayetteville, right?
Oh, yeah.
My first experience with Fayetteville, it was a girl named Krista, who's she in first class. So we joined the Navy together. We went to A school together. My homie Krista, she in first class. Needless to say, Krista done been through it. You know what I mean? Krista done probably been through it, coming straight out of Fayetteville. And she taught me about this before J. Cole. Because I joined in 2007. I think J. Cole came around in like 2009. So I ain't know nothing about Fayetteville or any military town or nothing like that. But I'm like, where are you from? I'm from Fayetteville. And, I'm like, man, they crazy in Fayetteville.
I got all 3 of my mess from Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Yeah, black women on point. You read me every day, man. God damn.
Yeah. So how was it? How was growing up in Fayetteville pre J. Cole?
Well, my grandparents stayed down there, so we were always down there. My mom was raised there. Well, pretty much my aunts and my uncles and all of them were raised there. But then my mom, she actually moved to Greensboro, so I was actually born in Greensboro, North Carolina. But we stayed my mom moved back to Fayetteville. She's back down there today. But it's still, nothing has changed. She's like 2 minutes from Fayetteville State, HBCU, shout out. But she's like 2 minutes from Fayetteville State, and you can still, it's like your typical city where you have the areas where they don't want to put too much money into it. So everything still looks like you did 20 and 30 years ago. And then you got this side of the city where they're putting all the money into it. And it's like, come on. But, I love the area that, my family moved into, back in 1977 is still the same area. And all the people that are there in that area, the little old ladies and the families and all that have been there since then. And when you talk about that small home, country, next door neighbor, baby, you need anything? I'm coming over with a basket of biscuits type situation. Like, I absolutely love that. Like, there's a lady, Miss Margaret, that lives across the street from my mom. Miss Margaret is like 85 years old. Back in July, my mom had hip surgery. And so I remember it was hot, like it was hot down in the South. And, my mom, I had made dinner that night. Miss Margaret came over about noonish, sat with mom for a little bit. And then she said, okay, I'm gonna get on back across the street and go ahead and make me some dinner. I was like, okay, Miss Margaret, you have a good day. About 4:00, Miss Margaret come ringing the doorbell. Gwen, come out here and check the front porch. Miss Margaret came and dropped off a whole fried chicken, some pinto beans, some cornbread, some rice. And we were like, what in the world? And at this time, Miss Margaret AC went out in her house. So she doing all this cooking and deep frying, baby, but she was going to make sure my mom had what she needed. When I tell you, I love that. I'm like, we are missing that in today's society. Everybody want to fight and get off my property, get off my list. We are missing that. But Fayetteville, where my mom is at right now, my grandparents, that family house, that it has not changed. Everybody still has that home. Everybody in this area is family, and we're going to make sure that everybody is good down there.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I notice about North Carolina, period, is like, and I don't know, Aaron, this might sound crazy to some listeners or somebody, but the blackness of North Carolina, it's a different type of black. I
agree.
It ain't Philly. It's like Atlanta black. North Carolina is like Atlanta black. It's a different type of, just the whole energy is it just feel different. Like, and I could tell when somebody be like, yo, I'm from North Carolina. You said you agree, Aaron?
Yeah, like, it's a certain type of flavor of person.
Yeah.
So if somebody says they're from Philly, I could tell, and it's a certain type of, I hate saying aura, but an aura type of charisma with it. If you're from Detroit, if you're from New Orleans, if you're from Oakland, if you're from North Carolina or Carolina, it's a certain vibe that a person has. You could just feel it off them. And when they say they're from there, it's like this, like, yep, for sure. You are definitely from
it's a Southern hospitality. Like, I promise you, right now, this weekend is A&T's homecoming. Chiho. Greatest homecoming on earth. If you ain't ever heard about it, look it up. I'll blow your mind.
I don't know. Grambling.
I'm just saying. But when you go down there,
like I said, contrarian. He's going to find something to fight you on, man.
Right. It's just that.
She know firsthand, so.
I don't pay that. The sunshine boy over here, I don't pay him no attention. But
sunshine, there she go. All right.
But it's that Southern hospitality. You can walk in the store and everybody's going, good morning, how you doing? Just, hey, baby, how are you? It's that Southern, that family, like, I don't know, it just makes you feel comfortable. Just, everybody's just family.
Y'all what got jokes, though.
I mean, because we speak English and we speak sarcasm. I mean, we just fluent.
I think it's the connection to the colleges.
You think so?
I think it got something. If I could ponder on this, right, and for some of the listeners, we do that sometimes. We're not sure about everything we say, but if I could ponder, I'll get back to that later. But if I could ponder on this, I think it's the connection to the HBCUs. I think it's the way the city ties to, like, even like DC. Like DC, like, it's Howard. You know, like at a certain point, the Chocolate City and that part, when you get to that, it's a Howard. Howard bleeds through DC. I think A&T bleeds through Carolina. It's a different stature. That's just what I think. But I definitely think it's some type of connection.
Because the city support. That city support. When the city supports you and everybody in the city supports you, supports that college. Here we go again. I always got to go against something. But when that city supports you, you know, you have that pride and everybody wants to be there because, like, right now the city is shut down. We know, like, hey, it's A&T's weekend. The city is coming for that because they're going to make their money. They're going to make their money. So they're going to support that college, you know, anyway. And not just, you know, A&T, but we have like University of Greensboro, or University of North Carolina, Greensboro, UNCG. We have Bennett College, which is an all-female college, like not too far from A&T. Then we have, like, there's Winston-Salem State, and there's High Point University. There's Elon. Like, we have so many different colleges there. Wake Forest, Duke, like all of that. It's just, you know, North Carolina is like a college central location. Just,
yeah. So you young in North Carolina, exploring. And we're gonna get into a lot of this stuff, right? So exploring sexuality, right?
Yep.
Dealing with knowing how you feel, but not really embracing it. So just trying to go through the motions of being, quote unquote, a normal kid in these days times, right? Did I say anything wrong?
No, you didn't. You hit it dead on the spot. It was, and it's because, you know, again, growing up in the South, you're in church every day. You hear the same, you know, sermons every day. Oh, you're going to hell if you're not doing X, Y, and Z. But it's always fascinating to me how everybody always hones in on sexuality, but nobody's talking about, you know, the infidelity. Nobody's talking about, you know, children out of wedlock. Nobody's talking about, you know, lying and not being honest or mistreating people. Nobody hones in on that, but it's always the sexuality piece. And, you know, being young, the ripe age of 7, kind of knowing, like, hey, why do I like looking at, you know, Playboy magazines? Don't understand what that is. Excuse me. And when you kind of start figuring it out, you're like, well, shoot, I'm the only one, right? I can't tell nobody because, oh my gosh, you know, you don't want to go to hell. And so that's what I was living. And you can only hold it in, but for so long, to the point that you're like, after a while, no, I can't live like this. I cannot be trapped inside of me. I need to be able to be who I am, you know, and that's just, I had to figure that piece out. And for me, I was lucky to figure that piece out at a young age and not have to really like live in a mental trench where I'm just fighting every day, just put a smile on my face, or fighting every day to be comfortable, or having to fake my way through life, because you can't hold that facade up for so long. So, yeah, it was an interesting time in my life. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah, and that gave me a flashback. Aaron, you remember Playboy mags?
No.
What?
Like, for real, you don't?
What?
Never.
All right, so I don't know.
Come on, yo.
Great line.
I'm not. Come on, yes.
You remember.
Playboy's a hustler. Yeah, my uncle had his stash. Yeah,
and that's where I was trying to get. All of our uncles had a stash of Playboy somewhere.
Not all of them. You got like staple uncles. You got like the first brother uncle.
Yeah.
You got the middle child uncle. You got the uncle that you know is all right.
The back room of grandma's house.
Yes, that's what this was.
The baby of the family that the sisters don't hold accountable.
Yeah, that was. Back room, grandma's house.
The whole Uncle Tim, right? How's Uncle Tim doing, by the way?
Oh, Uncle Tim is good. Uncle Tim is good. Oh, he is still, you know, Uncle Tim is still Uncle Tim.
Okay. Is he Uncle Tim the young baby uncle, or was he like with
No, Uncle Tim. So my Aunt Phyllis, that's my dad's sister. So my Uncle Tim, like he married to the family, but he's been Uncle Tim. Like he is the uncle that's gonna set your behind straight. He gonna love on you while he cussing you out, and you gonna feel bad and good at the same time. Like you feel bad because he cussed you out, but you feel good because like he really had a point and you should have had your shit together. Like that's Uncle Tim is Uncle Tim. That's my guy. That's my dude right there. You know. Prior Navy himself, so he gets it all, gets everything all.
Yeah, and where I was getting at was like just thinking back on those days though, like It'll never be those days again. Like, ain't no kids nowadays got an uncle where the back room, you go in the closet and you go past where they got them sneakers and you grab that Playboy mat. It's over. Those days are dead.
Yeah.
You know, it's at the palm of these kids' hands nowadays. You know, you got to put it back exactly how you found it. You know, like all that. You know,
you ain't been in your uncle's closet without telling me you ain't been in your uncle's closet.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Look, I got so much, Courtney. I got so much game from my uncle that he ain't know he gave me. I got so much. So I used to make, music. Like all my whole life was music, right? Just my entire life. And I'm listening to KRS-One, Slick Rick tapes, Boogie Down Productions, like Das Effect, like, but from his room when he ain't home, and then like making sure everything put back in the proper place by the time he get home. And in hindsight as a grown adult, I know it probably wasn't. You know what I mean? I know it wasn't, but I definitely got a lot from my uncle.
I mean, they knew what they was doing. That's why they didn't keep the door locked.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, them magazines that I was looking at was at my great aunt's house, because she used to babysit me and my brother like during the summertime and after school and everything. And my cousin Wayne, they were like, no kidding, in the living room on an end table. And she would have the Good Housekeeping magazines, and I always look at like the housing layouts and plans. I don't know why, because I'm an architect. I don't know why I did that. But he would keep them like on the end table. And so they would be stacked up like under the Good Housekeeping magazines. And I knew where they were. I just go over there and nobody in there. Open it up.
I don't know.
Put it back here. Like,
I was a Jet Beauty of the Week person.
Oh, Lord.
Jet magazine, man.
Yeah, man. Jet magazine. Those guys come back. Jet Ebony Essence. And I went
This boy looking at Dorothy Dandridge.
Nah, man. Hey, Dorothy Dandridge?
Oh my God! I hope not.
She predated Jet, man.
Hey,
if you go thrifting or looking for these old joints, man, I like looking for old magazines, and I found a lot of old magazines, and some of the stories are relevant. But anyway, I was like, let me go to page. I forgot the page number for Jet Beauty. I had it memorized. But you go Jet Beauty of the Week, and you look at it, it's like, all right. She goes to school in Spelman. Good for her.
Likes music and long walks. What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So you had an aunt who, was your aunt young when she started to get, what she got, like dementia? Was it dementia that she had?
Yeah, it was my mom's oldest sister, my Aunt Nancy. She was, I want to say it started like in her either late 40s or 40s, early 50s maybe. Yeah. She was my mom's oldest sister, and it's crazy how it went by so fast. And like we had no history of that in our family. Like nobody had any issues with any of that. And even still to this day, like we're still kind of like, what in the world just happened? But that was my mom's. Like that was, and I think I get my sense of style and how I am a lot from her. She always have like the one kid. You take after your uncle. You take after your aunt. You might have been their child. I think I probably should have been my Aunt Nancy's child. Because she was the diva of the family. She would, like she was that classy woman that when she walked in the room, it was like, oh, who was that? Oh, that's like my Aunt Nancy. And then we just kind of started noticing when my mom's mom got sick, and she ended up passing away. I'm no kidding. I distinctly remember her being on the phone. I don't know who she was talking to. And she just kept saying, Mom has expired. And I was like, she got a gallon of milk. I was sitting there like, keep saying, Grandma expired. Like it just, the way she was saying it. And what really got us was, so Greensboro and Fayetteville are like an hour and a half apart. And we were all in Fayetteville at my grandparents' house. And my brother had to come back to Greensboro to get something, do something. I don't know what it was. And we were driving back. She wanted to ride with us. And she kept repeating stuff. She kept asking like the same questions. And I was like, yeah. She just asked, and she would ask it in the same exact way. And so I was like, did she not realize she just asked the same question? And it kind of like, that's when me and my brother noticed it. And then my cousin James, my Aunt Nancy's youngest son, he's a jokester of the family. And so we would be at the dinner table and he would be like, Mom, crazy lady, you just said that like 2 seconds ago, or you just asked that 2 seconds ago. And I'm like, does he not know? Like, because I don't know if he was really connecting to what was going on. And then, my aunts and my uncle, they were, I think my uncle was like an IT business or technology business, and they had moved over to the Netherlands for a couple of years. And they were there. And that's when like stuff really started getting. They lived out in Duluth, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, and they moved overseas. And that's when it really started. She started going downhill to where she would go to get gas and didn't know where she was at or how to get home. There was a time I think my uncle came home and there was like a whole bunch of jewelry and nobody knew where the jewelry came from. And he thought like maybe she don't went and robbed the store somewhere. So he had to go around like, hey, did y'all see a short light-skinned lady come in? Everybody's like, no, like we don't know. To this day, don't know how the jewelry came about. She would be cooking and forget she would have had something on the stove, almost burning the house down. She would forget she had on clothes and just keep putting on clothes on top of clothes on top of clothes. And it just kind of just started deteriorating. And it was to the point that they had to move back here, back to America. So they moved back down to Georgia. And we were and my mom and my mom is the baby sister, and my middle sister, my Ruthie, they would go down to Georgia to like help out my uncle. Because at that same time, my oldest cousin, he had just been like blown up, with an IED over in Afghanistan because he was National Guard. So we're dealing with PTSD with him and him not wanting to take medication, living in a home. My uncle's dealing with that, and then dealing with my aunt who was like just declining. It was definitely a lot for my uncle at that time. So much so that he now lives in Mexico. He was like, I'm out. But he was dealing with a lot. And so my mom, were, trying to be there because it was crazy. It was definitely crazy. So when we lost her, 2015, we was at Great Lakes. I'll never forget that. I wasn't able to make the memorial or anything because of the recalls. But it was just, it definitely is a felt loss, even to this day. And it's been 10 years, 20 years, yeah. And even to this day, it's like, damn, my Nancy gone. Just, it's crazy. It's really, really crazy.
You said it was the oldest son that used to be like, you just repeat yourself, crazy lady. You said it was her son who used to say that, right?
Her youngest son, my cousin James, like at the time, he would just, he always was joking, oh, crazy lady, you're so crazy. Because he tell my mom that, oh, you're so crazy. My mom is crazy, she's funny. But he would just say that. And I don't think that he really knew or thought about why it was happening. He was just joking, like, oh, you just said that. You just said it like 2 seconds ago, and it was like, James, like, it's when, like, do you understand what's happening right now?
And we also, kids, like the people that's the closest to the people, we be the last ones to know sometimes,
We know, we just don't want to believe it, so we don't say anything.
Yep. That's your mom.
Because speaking it
normal too.
Right.
Yeah.
But that is not something that you can just be like, oh, no. Because I mean, it just, that is serious. It's sad because when your mind starts to go, like, no kidding, when we're born, we grow up, and then as we start to age, we go back to how we were as a child, as a baby, back to like a newborn stage.
My mom said once a man, twice a child.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And she got to the point where she couldn't walk, she couldn't speak, she couldn't do anything. It was like she was a baby all over again, and to the point that she just no longer was here with us. So it was like the birth, the growth, and then the death was like, like the going back out again, through everything of life, like all of life's phases, and it was just sad to watch all that happen to, the woman who was like the partier of the family, the diva of the family, who always was, ready to go and turn up at any time. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think about, and she went through a condition. I just think about life, like what Aaron just said and some of what you just said. I just think about it's going to be a 20 years from now. Lord willing, it's going to be a 30 years from now for me.
Lord willing, it's going to be
what it's going to look like.
Yeah,
Lord willing, what it's going to look like. But so, and again, like, so life is like this big series of ups and downs, and people are as well, right? They just like, man, you get these great stories of great people who make big mistakes, small mistakes. Sometimes you hate them, sometimes you love them. You got this step pop, right? His name is Mike, I want to say.
Yes. Yep. Michael.
Some of the names I just make sure I remember. So you got, so Mike's step pop, and just how was this man for your life?
So I think he came at a really, really good time. I was like 3 or 4 when he came. It was me and my mom. Mom, I was an accident. I was like, oops, dang, I still laugh about it today. I'm like, hey, I was a blessing. I was an accident, but I was a blessing. It was just me and my mom. And so when he came, it was like, okay, I have a dad. Like, I have a dad, but I have a dad. He's there. And I always, and y'all can probably chime in on this too, because I don't know from a man's perspective, when he came into my life, now he's my dad. I'm not his biological child. So there is no real emotional attachment to me. And as I get older, I always think about this stuff, right? I'm realistic. There's no real emotional attachment. I'm not your biological child. You have me, you are fond of me, you grow to love me because now you're in my life for until he passed away. And then all of a sudden, my real dad comes around, and I'm curious because as a child, I'm like, well, dang, I got you, but this is my real dad. Let me go. I just want to see what my real dad is like. But then there's that ego, that machoism or whatever. Like, hey, nah, you keep your behind over there because I've been over here raising her. Looking back on it, he taught me a lot. At the time, as a child, you think you don't realize that when your parents are writing you, and I even tell my students this in school, people who do not believe that that you have the potential or that you're going to be successful or that, it's worth it, they're not going to spend their time writing you the way they write you. If I am getting on you, it's because I know you can do better, because I want you to do better, because I don't want you to either, repeat mistakes that I probably have done or know that somebody probably, because I know what's out there and I want you to get to do better than that. So I'm going to ride you hard to make sure that you don't fall into the trenches or the trap. And so for me, with him, looking back, that's what he was doing. At the time, I don't see that. You're just me. You're not my dad. Whatever. But, I look back and I'm like, he didn't want me to be a young teenage mother, and he didn't want me to fall into what my stepsister had been through at the time. He was like, no, you need to do more, and so to speak. But there were times that I did kind of question, well, dang, you treat me like pure shit. I don't the whole notebook crash dummy story. I was like, what? I didn't do a notebook for English class, and you're telling me no, but then you bought my brother a crash dummy?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, he was definitely, he was a family man. I mean, he paid all the bills. And when he passed, it was rough for my mom because, she really didn't have to worry about paying for a lot of things because he took care of us. We were good. And then it was a struggle when he passed away. Mom trying to figure it all out by herself and just, keeping us afloat. Because just even my biological dad, just thinking about how many times he's come close to death's door, and you start questioning, okay, do you have a will? Do you have, life insurance? Do you have that? And it was like, nothing. I think Mike had enough life insurance for us to get a new washing machine and dryer. And that was about it. And it was like, well, you really didn't think about this all the way through. Or I don't know. I don't know if for some people, if actually sitting down and going through this, you're like, I don't want to do this because it means I really have to face reality that one day I'm not going to be here. So, but no, he was definitely a good guy. Very, very firm, disciplined. But I appreciate.
What's your thoughts on that, Aaron?
I mean, as far as what Courtney was saying, as far as
you doing the dad thing, right? And then the eternal father comes back in the story somehow.
Well, I mean, I haven't lived it obviously, but seeing it and talking to my friends who have who are in relationships where they married someone and now they're not a step parent. We always hear about maternal instincts and how a woman is always going to mother. I think a father is going to father. I think we have that in us. So when you marry someone or you're in a relationship with someone as a child, that's not yours. You take this woman, you take this man, you take them as yours. But when the father or the other parent, the biological parent comes in, I think that step parent is always going to try to respect and want that child to form a relationship with that parent. They're still gonna try to protect them. It's like, yo, man, your father, your mother, hey, I love you and I want you to experience that, but you got to keep your guard up to a point. So I think that they want that child to have that experience if their relationship, if that person is worthy of it,
Yeah, I mean, I think with the fatherly instinct, I think in that case, there's some people out there that probably don't.
Some don't. Yeah, the ones I talk to, I guess I'm privileged to be around some good dudes.
Some good dudes.
Yeah.
I think we want to protect the people we love, right? So when you see them and we grown men, so you understand the intentions of another man just by seeing them sometimes. You know, even with dads, with their daughters, like you might know the knucklehead, like, nah, he ain't the one. You know, so it's probably a little bit more emotionally like taxing on you when you see somebody hurt this person you love. It is a person that they are trying to love. You know what I mean? And sometimes with them trying to love that person, it might be them trying to detach a little bit from you because you're not the real version of this person anyway. So they run into that. And now you mad because he said something to you one night that I thought was Mike said something to you one night.
Yeah, I was getting ready to bring that up too. Because and I think, you know, me being 9, I don't know. I don't have no life experience. I don't have any like I cannot see what's going to happen, or I can't see the behavior around me to be like, oh, that's what you're doing? Oh yeah, I'm gonna stay away from you. I didn't have no discernment. I'm just innocent. I'm just like, oh, Dad, my dad is here. I just want to go with my dad. He's going to take me to Celebration Station in Greensboro. Like, we're going out on the weekends, you know? And there were so many times where, you know, he would like say, hey, I'm going to pick you up this weekend. He come spend the night with me, you know, at my place, or go to my grandmother's house, his mom's house. And he wouldn't show up. And I didn't know, you know, that didn't really bother me. But I think my stepfather, he knew, he saw this, he could tell. Yeah. And so one night, whatever argument we got into, I just remember him telling me, you know, your dad doesn't love you. If he had to choose between you and I forget the girl's name that he was dating at the time, that girl, you know, he would put you on a curb, or he would kick you to the curb. And I was just sitting here like, how dare you talk about my daddy like that? My dad, you know, because I don't know. I'm 9. I don't know. And so I've never forgotten that moment. There's certain things like you don't forget because they make an impression on your life, no matter how old you are. And it's been like 40 years ago. So words matter, you know, for adults, for anybody like this, that's listening to this podcast, that's paying attention to this, if you are a step parent, your words matter to the kids because they are going to carry everything that you say with them the rest of their life. They are going to carry it with them. And it's, you know, and you don't want to, that's why, you know, like when people are splitting up, you can't use the kid as ammunition. You can't use them as a weapon against the other person, because you put the child in a jacked up situation. And again, words matter. They are going to carry that, and they're going to carry a piece of anger or some kind of an emotional, you know, description with them the rest of their life when they think about that time in their life. And that's for me, that one moment was like, wow, like that's kind of messed up, you know, like, and I still think about that. And yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and sometimes we just like the illusion. Like to touch on the one part you were speaking about with like pops not showing up to things. When I was younger, we were, you know, we didn't live with our dad. And there was a couple moments where things would happen. And like, it's so like me and my pop so close now. And I talk about it different than I used to talk about it. But it was a couple moments in our life where things happened and pop, you know, we thought pop was going to come, pop didn't come. And, you know, when I think about it, and this don't got nothing to do with my dad, but when I think about it and I think about some men and just how prideful we could be sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes I think it's not, and I had conversations with my brother along these lines. Sometimes I don't think it's that they don't want to show up, it's malicious and they want to hurt the kid, but it's more like something about reality that in that moment they can't face. And it's going to be so much harder to face it with your kid right there. You know, it's something you might not have. It's something you might not. I remember talking to a family member. I ain't going to get into who it is, but you know, it was my daughter's, it was the baby, it was either the baby shower or my daughter. I think it might have been, it was the baby shower. And I'm like, yo, you could have just came to my baby shower. No, it was like, it wasn't even you could have came. It was like, you could have told me you wasn't going to come. We've been talking about this baby shower for the last X amount of time. You could have just said you wasn't going to come. And the person was like, yo, honestly, I couldn't afford to get a gift. It was like, I couldn't afford to get a gift. So I didn't want to even say anything. Like it was like that part of reality that they couldn't afford to get a gift. They ain't want to deal with it. You know, they ain't want to deal with that part of reality. So they took, and I'm like, yo, you could have came gift or not. I'm not expecting nothing from nobody at this baby shower. But it was that.
Shame
it was a shame.
Very tough, bro.
It was a shame. You know, it was a shame, especially when people got kids. That's hard to face.
Right. But it's worse when it's your family, though. If it's a friend, you're like, but you know, you want your family to be there. That's your, you know, like your family is like really like your first love, you know, if you're fortunate to have a good family, I guess. But, you know, and it's hard when it's the people that, you know, that's when you start setting them expectations. And, you know, sometimes I tell like, don't put expectations on people. I don't care who they are, because when they are not meeting the expectations that you put on them, now you're mad. They didn't know they weren't living up to your expectations because You ain't tell them, I expect you to, but yeah, I got to tell closed mouths don't get fed. Like, just say something, because you showing up is the gift. I'm not looking for anything. And that's how I was, with my father. I was just happy that at age 9, he came back. He was living in St. Louis for a long time. And he came, and I was like, I want to meet my dad. Like, even to this day, my father, he's done had like 2 near-death experiences, right? And like in 2007, 16, before I left the Great Lakes. And then just recently, last November, so this will be a whole year. And, you keep playing on death's door and it's going to open, right? And I remember last year, I was in class teaching, and my Uncle Tim, and my Phyllis were blowing up my phone. And I was like, what is going on? They have never called me during the workday. I called back, and they said, my aunt said, she retired, but she was an RN. And so she said, hey, you're going to get a phone call from the hospital. Your father is on life support. And in my mind, I was like, what you calling me for? Like, that's where I was at in my life. Because after a while, you can only do but so much to your child, to the point where we are good. We tried, nothing. Nothing. I'm good. Good. So hospital calls, and they're telling me, hey, your father's on life support. You're the next of kin. We need you to, come down, X, Y, and Z. And I'm just like, do I really need to drop everything I'm doing right now and come down? This is 2 days before Thanksgiving last year. It's like on a Monday, or Monday or Tuesday. And I'm like, okay, all right, fine, whatever. So I go down there. He had to have like emergency surgery. He almost died on the operating table. So they had to leave him open, wound vac on him to, get ready to try to do the surgery again once they had him stabilized. But they didn't know if they could stabilize him, X, Y, and Z. So he's in ICU. I go over to, I think I left and went down to High Point. That's where my Uncle Tim, Phyllis lives. And the next day I get up and I go over to the hospital. Don't know if he's going to be awake. I know they already told me that he couldn't talk because they had him intubated, or had a tube down his throat. But when I get there, they have him like in a semi-coma type thing, to kind of, from the pain, from still having him open. Mm-hmm. And I see him, I lay eyes on him. He looks good to me. He looks healthy. He looks fine. I wrote down on a piece of paper, hey, Dad, it's your daughter, it's Courtney. I just came, I saw you. You were out there, want to disturb you. I love you. Hope you get well. Asked the nurse, I said, hey, is he going to be fine when he has surgery? Or, what's the outlook going to be with him being like this? And she said, oh, no, he is definitely stabilized. He is good to go. We are weaned him off his medications. He is going to be just fine when they continue the surgery. Bet. I came back home. I went back to my house and said, I'm going back home to VA. If anything happens, just call me and let me know. Because I have gotten to that point where having somebody in your life who, you've tried to reach out, you've been there, and they're not there as a parent or step, doesn't even matter. People get tired. Even as an adult, we get tired. And so seeing him and knowing that he was okay was closure for me. And so it was crazy, because when I came back home, or it might have been a couple of weeks later, I got a text message that said, hey, it was from my aunt. She said, hey, your dad wants your number so he can contact you. My number has not changed in like 20 years. I've had the same number. I have texted him so many times. So I said, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm good. Because when I was trying, he didn't want to. That window of opportunity has closed. But if something happens, just let me know. I'll be back down there, but I'm good. And that's where I'm at, even to this day.
Hey, Aaron, you had a thought. Does it remain?
Yeah, it's the same thing with Courtney saying with her relationship with her biological father. My father passed in 22, and like Courtney said, I got tired of pulling back a nub, putting my hand out there. Mm-hmm. I had no interest in talking to him. You call, but I want to say is that sometimes I learned more about my father when he died from other people.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I knew things about him that he wouldn't even volunteer to me, even when he was alive and able to tell me. What I learned was that through his childhood, he was left astray. He never had people that really was there for him. So even, the child you are makes the adult that you are. He never knew how to show up for anybody, because nobody showed up for him.
Mm-hmm.
And you can either make a choice and do better as a father if you didn't have your pops around you, or you can keep that cycle going. And for him, I understood that even if he wanted to show up, he didn't know how to, and he didn't care enough to try to learn how to show up for me. And my pops, he 10 kids by 6 women. And I was the last one.
Yeah.
And then when he passed, I went down there to Florida and I paid respects to a person that I really didn't need to. But I did it off the strength of trying to be the man that my mother raised me to be, and how I'm trying to be that for my daughters and my son. You know, I paid stuff for his funeral. I'm like, you got other kids' insurance. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right.
You know, so like Courtney said, hey, I came, I saw you sincerely put love in the best way that you could do it, but not at the cost of yourself.
Right.
So,
you got to have boundaries. You got to have boundaries. And that includes having boundaries with your family. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to figure out what that boundary is going to be for you. And for me, knowing that my father is good, you know, the first time when he got sick when I was at Great Lakes, again, another near-death experience. My Uncle Tim and my aunts went above and beyond to make sure that when he got out of the hospital, he was taken care of. They set him up with an apartment, gave him furniture, made sure, you know, everything was good with him. And then when he couldn't get anything out of them anymore, it was like, he didn't need nobody. So, you know, that the entitlement piece for me is where I draw the line at. You can't have what you want when you want it. That's not how this world works. And so I'm one of those people, and my motto, I would tell you all day, every day, and twice on Sunday, I can show you better than I can tell you. I will show you first. I'm not going to argue with you all day. I'm not going back. My silence will speak volumes, because that's going to be it. If you can't appreciate my presence, I'm going to make you miss me in my absence. I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah, we gonna get to that in your book too, because you was like, yeah, I took my dog. I took my dog and I got up out of there because drama. That's one thing I'm not gonna do, right? But we gonna get to that later. What I want to before,
along with the Fs too, right? Maybe
the 6 Fs. Yeah,
we'll talk about that later too.
I don't know if you're gonna talk about it. Right.
Before we leave, like we've been all over the place talking about life, but before we jump into the military, at some point, you get pregnant, young age. And so now I'm narrating the story. I'm like, all right, you know, what's about to happen? You know, because as I'm listening to the book, and like I said, I really enjoyed it. But I'm like, all right, she fighting with her sexuality. And I kind of know where you are in life now, you know, but I'm like, did she try to like live like this because of this? How did the family, whatever. And then something happened in that story. And I'd rather prefer you kind of tell that part of it. But you get pregnant 16, right?
Yep.
Off the first time, you know, the first shot.
Oh, that's how it works. I was like, oh, shoot. Oh, my bad. I was just playing. But no, yeah. Because you're trying, you know, for me, it was like, okay, I know how I feel, but let me just see if that's just a feeling, or, you know, and I was like, I have boyfriends back. Like, it was crazy, but it wasn't him. It was me. It was me the whole time, you know, because I'm trying to figure this thing out. Maybe I don't like him. Okay, no, it wasn't him. They all great dudes. Like, all them guys are great guys. Like, I have nothing bad to say about anybody. It wasn't him. It was me. But yeah, I ended up did that. And, you know, it was, looking back on it, you know, my mom, Lord bless her, that woman, man, she ride or die. Like, if she gonna hold you down, she gonna cuss your butt out, but she gonna, you know, make sure that you are good. And I'll never forget when she snatched me up, threw me in that car. We drove to old buddy's house and told his mom and woke him up. I was like, my mama here. You got to come to the kitchen. Because I remember he was in his room sleep, taking a nap. I was like, you got to get up and come in the kitchen because my mama here. Like, she knows. And it was like, what? And I was like, what do you do? And my mom was like, no, we're not doing this. I refuse to have you being, you know, a young Black female, being a statistic. Because back in those days, it was like, you know, not to say the cool thing to do was, but it was like every girl in high school was in high school pregnant, walking around with a tight jacket on, with a little hooded fur coat, little Tims. They were trying to squeeze in them little skinny jeans, with a little rubber band around, you know, buckle. Like, that was the thing. And like, you have a flashback. But it was I was like, I didn't want to be a statistic. And, you know, now, like, I don't really, I don't know, not that I don't believe in abortions or like under certain circumstances, but, you know, everything happens for a reason. And I always think about, like, what if I had that child? Would I be where I'm at right now? Would I have, you know, how would my life have unfolded? And I can tell you, I have no regrets about anything. I would not change anything in my life. The fear, the pain, the losses, the gains, the experiences I've had, I would not change anything in my life because everything that I went through has brought me to this moment right here, being here with y'all. Like I would never change anything.
Yeah. So I want to, so life happens. Eventually you join the Navy, right? And that's where a lot of, the book gets there too. So it's like the tale of two stories, right? So you join the Navy. Now you join, and originally like the detailer had you at an SH, which is a RS now.
Yes.
Right? And then, so it's a whole story about how Uncle was in, he took you back. He was in the military. He took you back. Like, no, she ain't about to, he was in the Navy. She ain't about to do that. Boom, boom, boom. Now, at some point though, you get to a ship, right? And this is the part that I was interested in, right? You get to a ship and you got the AZ rate. What do you think when you finally do see the SHs, aka RSs now? What do you think when you finally do see them working? Were you like, man, I dodged a bullet? Or were you like, man, they got a pretty sweet job?
Listen, my first time, like no kidding, my first deployment on the Eisenhower in 2000, nasty 9, 69, whatever. I went TAD, was the S3. I went TAD to the SHs. I was working in the ship store. I worked down in laundry and the press decks. Pressing them daggone, them utilities. Boy, everybody wanted their wash khakis pressed, and I made some good old money off of that mess. You hear me? Hell yeah, I dodged a bullet. I went to, man, listen, what? You know how hot it is with them big old industrial dryers? Listen, no, I'm not doing that. You ain't going to have me back here in the slave quarters pressing clothes all day long, sweating, steam coming off of everything. Oh, no. I'm not doing it. I know, not doing it. So, yeah, thank you, Uncle Tim, lifesaver. Because I was like, and he asked me, you plan on cutting hair and then stocking vending machines? And I was like, what? I didn't know what SH was. I was like, I don't know. And I got there, I was like, nah, this is temporary. Thank God, I can't do it. Shout out to those that are holding it down. But at the time, that's where my mind was at.
Shout out to
I can't do it.
Much love to the RSs out there. Doing their thing, man. So boot camp was 99.
Yep.
Right. And y'all, hey, for the listeners, boot camp 99, she's in the 900 division. They go out to a thing out in town. Told not to eat candy.
Can't stand band camp recruits, boy.
Yeah, they live life, man. I used to always look at them 900s like, dang.
Stay flat.
Hey, now this what your boot camp story did for me, Courtney. It took me back, yo. I'm like, damn, yo. And I always, like a little break in that part of the conversation. What made you write this book first?
Oh my goodness. So I forget what it might have been, like 2018 or 1918. Nope, 18. Veterans Day. No kidding, Veterans Day. People posting, Happy Veterans Day, whatever. Thank you for your service, all this stuff. I don't know what pissed me off, but I was sitting there going, do y'all know what y'all thanking us for? Do you know what you are thanking us for? And I did this. I didn't think nobody was going to read this mess. I did this long Facebook post. And I talked about how, people are saying thank you for your service, but do you know what you're thanking us for? Thanking us for long deployments, missed birthdays, missed deaths, missed marriages, missed, first words spoken, baby's first steps. We're missing all of these things in our families' lives. And, we're stressed out and having to, deal with family matters and come to work like everything's okay at home so we can get through the day at work. And yet we got stuff going on at work. And then you got, people in the government wanting to use us for military gain, but yet they ain't never served in the military. And here we are, being politicized like we are today, just for their gain to win whatever they're trying to win. And then we got to keep ourselves from feeling like we want to commit suicide because the weight that we carry is so heavy. But why say anything? Because if you say anything, then, you're a weak leader and nobody wants a weak leader. So let's remove you out of the military. But it's like, but no, you need to say something. If I say something, you're going to fire me. If I don't say something, you're telling me I need to say something. It was so much. So when I put all that there, people started reading it. I was getting so many Facebook messages from people I didn't know, from people that I do know, saying, oh my God, I thought it was just me. And that is when You're Not the Only One came about. because everybody kept saying, I thought it was just me feeling this way. Because nobody wants to say anything. They don't want to be the first one to say it. I don't have no shame. I'm going to say it. That's why the whole book came out. And my initial thought process was I wanted to get stories from service members that are actually in a service about their tough times and what keeps them going, what has been their why. Then I wanted to do another half of the book where it was the spouses and the significant others that are at home, keeping home afloat. Because you go from a 2-parent home, now you're a 1-parent home with 4 kids running around with different activities, bills, things breaking down, work, appointments. It was so much they're doing on the home front. How do you keep yourself afloat? And I wanted those stories just so that everybody can see, like, hey, this is what military service members go through. So when you're thanking us for our service, it's not just a thank you for your service, here's for free breakfast. No, this is real life. It's not, a poster or a happy day for some, unlimited stack of pancakes at IHOP. Like, it's more than just that. So I have a retired Master Chief friend of mine. He was like my mentor, still is through this day, Leon Walker. And he hit me up and said, you need to write a story. He was like, you need to write a story about your life. I said, oh, I want to hear about my life. I don't have no life. Like, he said, no, you are a leader in the Navy. You are a Black female and you're a lesbian. You have a story. And I said, what? And he had just released his book. I can't remember what the name of his book is right now, but he just released his book that April. And he told me, you need to write a story. And I was like, all right. I said, well, I'll start something because if you come along this journey with me. So he would make me write a chapter and I would have to send it to him and he would give me some feedback, X, Y, and Z. And then that's how the book ended up coming about, just day by day. And like you said, a quick read, like I was getting messages, people were reading it in like one night, like up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and they had to go to work the next morning. But they were like laughing and crying and pissed off and just going through all the emotional feels with it. But it is definitely a quick read. That's how the book came about.
All right. So my second production question: are all the names real?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Hey,
he was like,
so it was up and it was stuck. It's up and it's stuck.
Yeah, some of them are not. I'll tell you that. Some of them are not. Like I did change. I think I did change one name in there, but for the most part, 99.98%.
Because how my man Izzy, how Izzy feel, dog? All right, let's go because I
don't even know. We can talk about that too.
I feel like Princess was a fake name, but
no,
we'll get into it. Oh, okay, all right. So back to boot camp. So y'all go eat candy when y'all not supposed to eat candy. So then y'all gotta go make it rain.
That story. Let me tell you, you scary behind people. I can't stand. Like, how you snitch and just we all get in trouble? But if you would have said that, we would have been fine. Yeah, like our RDCs, we all remember our RDCs in boot camp, and we had this one butch. Oh, bull nigga RDC. She was short, but she was strong. Boy, you flipped the whole table in the compartment one day. Messed me up.
Strong. That's strong.
Right. Like, woo. Like, make you go, what in the world? So, we had to go sing. It was like National Flag Day or something. And we had to go sing the national anthem at a high school that was like 5 minutes away from our boot camp. And, they always tell you, you will obey your last direct order. Bet. And so I remember we get there in the MU, he was the senior chief, and he told us to go eat and be merry. Follow your last direct order. So, I have a thing for M&M's and I have a thing for Kit Kats. And so all I wanted was some M&M's. Like, I was, hey, you don't say nothing, I'm not going to say nothing. We all eat something. We just keep that little secret to ourselves, And so I didn't know this girl was put in to be a mole, be a snitch and everything, and was put in charge of us. So we go do our thing, we get back. We all like, hey, we got our time in, got my little, I didn't bring nothing back. I wasn't that stupid, but some of the girls did bring some stuff back. And I just remember getting called into the fishbowl. And at this time, this is when the RDCs actually slept in there. So the bed was in there, that little steel frame bed, the desk, lockers and everything. And she had us lined up. And I just remember the clock being on the wall. And she was standing in front of us and she said, she started yelling at us and she was like, I want to know who was eating or whatever was said. And, she just kept going in, like giving us a chance to say something. And in my mind, I'm like, who the hell snitched? Like, because I remember being like, hey, if you go down, I'm going to go down too. Like, hey, one team, one fight. We all in this together. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to let you, lose this battle.
Ride or die. Here she go.
Hey, I'm just saying, like, if you go down, I'm going down with you. Because we all were doing it together. I'm not going to be like, let her get in trouble. But, no, I did it too. Hey, you get beat, I'm going to get beat with you. It's fine. But I was like, who said something? Like, who? And this girl was just like, she just went and asked the MU senior chief, what happens if you were told not to do something, but then everybody around you did it anyways? And that senior chief came back and told our RDC what was said, and that's how she found out. Boy, she beat the brakes off of us. And this is when we had like dungarees and utilities. And we had that old chambray shirt on, whatever it was. And she did this right before dinner. And we had to march into the galley with this soaking wet shirt on because she beat us.
Nice.
Baby, what? And the whole time, this girl that told, she over here crying, doing them arm circles, just crying. Nah, keep that same energy, sis, that you had when you had all that to go over there. That's that. Nah, keep that same energy, player. When she in there crying, you did this to you and us, but you did this to you. But oh man, I don't know where that girl is right now. I'll beat her down still to this day if I ever found her.
She's somewhere with
him.
On site.
She's somewhere
on site, man. Man, some things.
She's somewhere honoring her core values.
I don't got out of Navy by now. Hey, the girl, man, and they're crying. No, sis, keep that same energy you had when you was over there talking about it.
Yeah. So you get through boot camp, kind of like unscathed outside of that. Did you have any issues with the swim?
No, I didn't, which was crazy. Like no kidding. When I was in North Carolina, we have Greensboro. We have a water park called Emerald Point Water Park. It's still there to this day. Mm-hmm. I was a no kidding lifeguard at this water park because my stepfather didn't play there. He took me and my brother to swim lessons at the YMCA, and we learned how to swim. Like we learned how to swim. So yeah, I had no issues with the swim.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's us, man. Swimming is, I think, essential to survival. Anyway, we hear about people drowning.
And I took my kids. My son was like, "All right, bet." My girl said, "I don't want to." I'm like, "It's just your life."
Right.
Get in the pool.
Right.
You can't force them. I'm like, "Come on, man." But yeah.
Man, go to boot camp. Go get off that 10-foot platform.
So we ain't gonna get into this, but I learned what a Prince Albert was reading your book. I never knew what Prince Albert was. So I never knew.
I learned too. I learned too.
I can't do jumping jacks.
And now you heard was I was like, what is this noise?
Y'all gotta get the book. You gotta get the book if you don't know what a Prince Albert is.
Hey, if you get it on Amazon, it's not. It's like what? It's like $6 for the sale. Just cop it on Kindle, man. Okay.
So now, though, we get into one of the things about military life, at least Navy life, that I always think about. I was affected by it in a different type of way than this, but you go through boot camp, you learn all these core values, you learn about integrity, you learn about being sharp and all this stuff, military, rah-rah, right? And then the first instructor you see is this just obese, I'm going to say obese, but you're just this obese person with the utilities on.
Yeah.
He's a fat general, huh?
Oh my goodness. You couldn't even see his belt buckle. Like I remember this guy like it was yesterday, like it just big. Like, but yeah, we supposed to be PT and he didn't want a PT. Like we had to do something. That's why it wasn't that much to do. So, jumping jacks was not his thing. Like we weren't going PT for real. Just enough to check the block.
Go do some push-ups, y'all. He was a bear though.
Right. Like, oh my God. So stupid.
Man, let me stop. But yeah, he's like,
don't get me started, boy.
He's like, go over there. But that happens a lot, right? We learn all this stuff. And then we get somewhere. Like I always say, my first night on a ship, some dude was like, this is how you gun deck. It was a part of the training pipeline. Like, this is how you gun deck. I don't want to stand watch with this dude no more, y'all. Like, I just don't want to stand watch with a dude who on the first day, like, at least if you're going gun deck, man, like, have me stand by somewhere. Like, yo, I'll be right back. I'm gonna just do this round in here and come back.
Right.
Don't show me how to gun deck. I would never teach somebody the wrong way of doing something. That's just crazy.
Especially somebody brand new. Like, oh my God, what you gonna run till that? Like, what in the world? Like, I was showing
so you start losing that like pride.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, right? You start losing that pride damn near the moment you get out of damn boot camp.
And it's still like that to this day. Even with Aaron and us were at RTC, you would see comments on social media. And, luckily for me, retired, I dropped out a lot of groups because I'm like, ain't got to do with me no more. But you would see how we hold them to a standard at Great Lakes, right? They know how to pop to, they know how to march, they know how to be respectful, how to clean, maintain, they still have that military bearing. But as soon as they get to A school, because you got the petty officers over there that's been in a while, half of them are angry, they probably pissed off about something. That stuff starts to spread like cancer. And so everything that boot camp teaches you, all the values, the core values, the integrity piece, like you said, the military bearing, the professionalism, all that discipline that we try to instill, by the time they get to A school, it's gone. And then when they get out to the fleet, the first thing the fleet says is, oh my God, what you learn in boot camp? Baby, not that.
Yeah.
Because we had a standard. Blame it on A school. Blame it on the instructors who aren't working out, who aren't, teaching the correct way, halfway teaching because they don't want to be at work. So they're letting all the kids go at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They're not holding them to that same standard. So, it starts.
That first impression at boot camp is still lasting.
Yes.
Our division, I remember, we graduated them. And, you're like, yo, I'm out. Turning this cutlass, paperwork, we out. I remember on our push, a mother came to me, she's like, yo, thank y'all for looking the part.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all actually add up to that. You know what I'm saying? The RPOC from our division, she was still in, she had MA1. She was like, yo, like you had that impression with her, it stuck. So even if she saw the nonsense at A school, C school, or first command, she's like, no, I still know what right looks like.
Right.
So,
and there is, and you're talking about that, there is one young lady, I don't know if I know her, but, she got asthma into our division after she got into that fight. And we called her like the recruit master chief petty officer of the Navy because she had been at boot camp for so long. But when she came in, we had made her our yeoman. And still to this day, when I tell you, I still talk to her all the time. She still reaches out. She had a rough upbringing. She came to, our division in a rough way. And she does the hard things. She is now a first class CS1 on the George Washington, married, 3 kids, I've been to like all her reenlistments, and reenlisted by myself. But she is that go hard drive, will call me for advice, will ask me questions. And this is boot camp. This was like, I don't know, 2015, 16 maybe. And she had a rough. Yeah. And we still to this day still talk. A lot of the kids from my boot camp area as RDC, my divisions, they still reach out and I still talk to them to this day. A lot of them are chiefs too, which their chiefs are their officers, which is also kind of, cool to see. Which is kind of weird, but it's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, and we ain't gotta dig deep, but I was on the phone with Aaron yesterday, talk about like impactful leadership, like real powerful leadership, like being responsible with somebody's memories, right? That's my whole thing when it comes to leadership. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm trying to be responsible with your memories on me. I honestly, like nothing else is over that. Like I need to be responsible with your memories of me. That could be fair. That could be however it looks. But when you think about me, man, I want it to be something of some value. Not this motherfucker try to make my life a living hell every single day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now you go to A school. And again, and that's what I'm loving about this book. I honestly love Navy books. Especially ones that just talk about lifestyle, right? So you go to A school and you got this girl named Anjali, right? Who I think in like 3 weeks she was trying it, So Anjali though, what she reminded me, so I thought about 2 things when I thought about Anjali. I thought about the stroll, like the little stroll, the little clutch. Hey, let's walk around the base. Yes. And this is a time before social media, really streaming,
cell phones, all that, right?
Your phone.
Yes.
Let's take that lap. Let's take one before we go in for the night. Let's take one more lap. See who out here. You know what I mean? Let's go by the galley.
Hit the yard. Let's go.
I go right up in the galley and a whole group of people sitting down. I go right with them like, hey, what y'all up to? Like, we used to have fun, yo. Before, when we was outside, like, and I hate to reminisce and alienate, some of the young people, but when we was outside by the McDonald's or the little club, Nitro, or whatever, we used to have fun, yo.
Yeah.
We used to have fun, man.
Yeah,
I don't know how it is now.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But that was
like, remember back. Yeah, and it probably sound like predatory nowadays, but remember just back in the day, you go to the mall. You just go to the mall.
Just to go.
I'm leaving it with something.
Yeah, right.
I'm leaving it with something.
There you go.
At least one number. I'm leaving it with something.
Yeah, young boys, we have a tally. Like, I'm leaving with 10 numbers. Like, that's crazy and toxic, But now when you think back, like, do you really want to leave with 10 numbers?
Man, it wasn't toxic, man. You just
that's what we did in our day. It wasn't thought, it wasn't thought anyway. That's just what we did. Like you said, we didn't have social media, cell phones, and all this stuff to entertain us at home. And if you did have a Nintendo or an Atari, you couldn't play it until certain times on the weekends. So it was like, can I go to the skating rink for teen night, or can I go to the mall, or you had to find something to go do.
I think the last bastion of sailors that got it in like us, I saw it in Japan. Right before COVID, they were going to honch. They was them honch monsters. They was they was getting it in, man. The honch monsters, man.
What is that?
What's a honch monster? You want to know?
Yes, I don't know what that is.
All right, so if you station in Yokosuka.
Okay.
All right. So you station in Yokosuka, right?
Yeah.
And, they all go to Roppongi and all this spot, to Tokyo and all this, right? All right. The area right outside of the base is a bunch of restaurants, bars, right?
Okay.
So if at the time when I was there, if the Reagan was in port, you knew the Reagan was in port, right?
Okay.
And all these sailors would just converge on the honch before Liberty expiration.
Mm-hmm.
And they just be just club diving. This ship or this ship, they just finding their next husband and wife out there on a different ship.
It was like a port visit.
Every night.
Every night. Got it.
Imagine the last night of Liberty.
Yeah.
Every night.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And then you chief and you out there, chief of the honch, not shore patrol, just there to diffuse some nonsense like, hey. And you just watching, the apocalypse, Sodom and Gomorrah. It's like, yo, what are y'all doing?
Right.
Yeah, I wonder what it's like now.
Hey, you should ask Tyra, your new admin. She was a low-key honch monster for a little bit with her friends. Not her.
Hey, Tyra, you hear this dude? You hear him? Tyra.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, so oh my gosh.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, but so you spent a lot of time in Norfolk though, and I'm like, when I was young, I used to go to Norfolk State, and like I said, why I think some of this stuff was toxic.
Yeah, I was Norfolk State too. I thought I went there. I didn't go there. I was there, and at ODU. I was all day parties, man.
I was at ODU a lot too.
Hampton, the Hampton girls was bougie though.
I was at Hampton. All right, let's move on because
let's go ahead and move that, please.
So Anjali, right? All I wanted to say was that the story of Anjali just reminded me how when you in the Navy, you learn super early that friendships, that the lifetime of a friendship could be super expeditious. You could meet somebody in 3 weeks, they the best person in the world that you know, and then you'll never see them again.
And then life happens and you just, it's not on bad terms. It's just life be life. And she was good. That girl was so funny, man. She was an interesting character, and even from boot camp, because even we didn't leave that exact day when boot camp graduation. So I think her family had a hotel, and maybe she had to stay, but her family had a hotel, and so we went to her room, we hung out a little bit, and just it was that girl. Oh my God, that story. Portuguese love. That's all I got to say. Just Portuguese love.
I want to sing the song a little. Tina Marie, my favorite singer, like woman singer. I want to sing the song a little bit because I know it. But
that's how I found out she was white.
Episode
I didn't know
Portuguese love.
That was my introduction.
The last
to
little bit of it.
Oh Lord.
The last part of it. But so now you go to a ship. And you're going to a ship in the early stages of women being on ships, right?
Well, no, my first command, the first command I went to, it was an all male command. And so they were slowly integrating females into that squadron.
Period.
And just in general, they were all males, and that was rough. The mindset, it's like the guys can't be guys anymore. Now they got to kind of watch what they say and do now. So it was like, I just told.
Were they watching what they said?
Probably not. I mean, the only thing that I do remember was Aaron Smitty. I guarantee, and that's probably why sometimes my mouth can be foul too, because that's how I learned. And I remember
your mouth is foul.
But I just remember.
I never would have thought, Courtney.
I might ask you not to shut up. But I just. Aaron Smith, I just remember him being at E3 and he was just so angry about everything. And, Aaron Nunez helping me out with my cranial because I didn't know what I was doing. And I just remember he was my first introduction to, okay, now I'm going to have to show you what this is going to be about. Now I can see I'm going to have to do a little bit more or prove to you. And again, still coming into this, I can show you better than I can tell you because people don't believe you until you show them, and but then after a while, it was like I guess low key at that time did respect me, but I didn't know until that one night I had an altercation and he came to save me that one night. But Yeah.
So I wanted to get into that, but you just made me think about something else. The first thing you made me think about is like that lock-in mode that you're going to, like, yo, all right, I gotta lock in. And the reason why you made me think about that, because I feel like in the standard Navy career, you probably got to tell yourself that more than once. Well, I know I have had to tell myself that more than once.
Yes, and people don't realize it, not to make it like a racial thing, but it is exactly that. Because when you look at the makeup of the military, it's going to be majority of white males. And so when you have that comfortness around them, and then you got other people like the outsiders coming in, it's kind of like, who are you? What are you doing here? That challenging type thing without really challenging us. And you make it difficult for us for some reason or whatever. And, and being a female, it was like, okay, I'm stepping into a male dominated world. Now I'm stepping into a male dominated command. And it's, okay, is she going to be crying? Because I did have this, it was a chick there, AZ3 Mendeville, Jenny Mendeville, never forget this girl. She made it rough because she was that, oh my God, I broke my fingernail. Oh my God, he said that. And it was like,
damsel in distress.
Like, oh my God. And it was making me mad. Like, no, we're not doing that. We got a job. I don't need you setting me back. I'm over here trying to get mine. And you over here crying every 30 seconds about something. Like, it used to make me so mad. And we, and through your whole career, and I know people can, relate to this. We have always, even to my last command almost, had to prove, had to fight a battle, had to save a young junior female sailor from, the thought process of male leadership. Like, what are we doing? How long is this going to last? When is it going to be just like, you're a human, I'm a human, and let's just get this job done? I don't care. Just do what you can. And wherever you fall short at, let me help you, or, help you get to where, you should be, or where we need you to be for X, Y, and Z. It's tiring, but yes, you always have to do a little bit more just to prove, I guess, that you can do it, which is crazy because we're still doing that to this day.
Tax we learn about when we grow up.
Yeah.
It's tax.
And even if you're doing great, like a solid performer, every now and then you still got to tell yourself, like, yo, lock in. Like, because you had a command 3 years, like 3, 4, 5 years sometime. And that shit, that's a marathon. You know what
you got to lock in and remove distractions.
Yeah, that's a marathon. One of the things you just said, it made me think about very recently, it's a seller at my command. We had to correct her on like her hair, and we don't got no women chiefs, but we had one coming TD. and one of the dudes was like, well, when she come, I'm like, nah, we gonna do that, right? We gonna talk to her. We'll let her know. And it's a whole nother conversation we could have about that, Courtney, and I want to, but just not right now. And about, it's two sides to, it's a dichotomy to that though. As a man, sometimes talking to a woman about grooming standards, sometimes it's not accepted by the women. Sometimes
it's about your delivery. It's all about its delivery.
Yeah.
Is a thing. So
yeah. If you got the language of educational you're talking about, you could do it. So with our division, right, going back to boot camp, right, and there's a time with the hair pilots and, you know, there were times they'll grab me, they're like, oh, you got to talk to him. Like, why? Well, you know how to talk that talk. Why? Because I know what a co-wash is. I know why they don't wear conditioner. It's the same thing. Like, everybody don't know that. I'm like, all right, well, here I told you.
Learn. Right. And I always hated that.
Do that, you know what I mean?
Because even in the Navy, when they would they would come and find me all the time to talk to this female about X, Y, and Z. If me as a female can have a conversation with a male about his shave, about the length of his sideburn, about his haircut, about the length of his mustache, you know, if I can have a conversation about the male and know the male standards, I can have you should be able to have a conversation. A male should have a conversation with a female. If you take the time to learn. But most guys are like, I'm not dealing with that woman stuff. Let the women have it. Wrong answer, leader. Wrong answer, chief. Wrong answer. You learn the same way we are held to a standard to learn. You got to learn that same thing because one day it might just be you and that female. But it's all about your delivery. But what today, so when I do all my speaking, people know my speeches and stuff, I will tell in that speech everywhere I go, you cannot lead a 1900s or a 2025 sailor with a 1900s mentality. So if you're thinking off the rip, you just don't go over and just be lighting somebody up because you the chief, you got anchors, you got, some bars and you just want to flex on somebody. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to get exactly what you give. That energy is going to match energy and you can't be mad about it. And so for me, being able to pull somebody aside and say, hey, because I do it in the schools because even with the teenagers, the society of today, you got to be mindful of who you're speaking to and who you're speaking with. And, they don't know you. There's no trust there. They don't care what you have to say because you don't know them. They don't know you. They don't know how you are, like how you're approaching them or, what your intentions are. And that's a huge thing when it comes to knowing how to talk to somebody. But if you roll up on somebody, because I am no kidding type of person, I'm not going to blast you. I'm going to say, hey, shit, come in for a second. Let me house you for a minute.
Hey, I'm supposed to say clock it or something?
Yeah, just
clock it.
Do that. Yeah, my daughter does that.
Just pull aside.
I don't know how to clock it. I learned about that like 2 weeks ago.
She's like 20 months. She'd be like, dock that T.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
I gotta say, and did. And my wife she's like, and did.
No.
So I told her that. I actually told her that. And my wife told her to clock the T. We just be teaching stuff. But you said something. You was talking about leadership, right? So to keep on to what we talk about right now, you was talking about leadership. And one of the things that I wrote a quote from that you said, it was, did you train them? Right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I quoted that is because I've been through that so many times where somebody is like complaining about something that somebody that they supposed to teach don't know.
Right.
They don't know. They don't even know how to write emails.
Did you train them?
They work for you, right? They work in your division. Are they in your division?
Hey, Delta Romeo, direct reflection. We always said that, right?
Yeah.
Man, they suck. Yeah. I wonder why they suck, man.
Yeah. Right. They ain't even know how to answer the phone.
I've never understood that. And that's why, you can't wait till a child is 18 to teach them how to be an adult. The same way you can't wait for these first classes to become chiefs to teach them how to be a chief. That mess is grooming. From the time you say, hey, you're a supervisor in this work center and they're having to manage and lead, that's when you start training them how to manage and lead. So they carry that and build upon it to get stronger and better and wiser and smarter. So when that day comes and, you're passing down your anchors, in confidence they can step up and lead and not stand in front of, their oncoming division, scared to talk, scared to answer why you here. Like they don't, why are you here? I don't even know. Like, get out. Like I can't.
Yeah.
But, but then you want to blame somebody for something. It's your fault that they don't know. If you are not doing your job and training and teaching, mentoring, guiding your replacements, you can't fault nobody for that but you. If you cannot go on leave and be on leave without worrying about work, you have failed.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, whoever, because think about this. Back in the day, in the 1900s, when I came in, we didn't see the chiefs out there in the dead plates like that, right? You saw them crusty, big mustache, Old Spice, brute smelling first classes that was running circles around that command. You might have had one crusty behind Master Chief and maintenance control or wherever you were at. You had that one that didn't do anything but put his feet up on the desk and probably had a cigar in his mouth. Like, we didn't see chiefs. If you saw a chief or a senior, your behind was going to court, martial, captain's mask, whatever.
Yeah.
You didn't see
you
that.
You got in trouble or you getting an award?
You didn't see that. Right.
Or somebody died.
They were trained. They knew. They rode you like a rodeo show pony, but they rode you. And we actually, as young junior sailors, we had a fear of the first classes, but we trusted them because we had them. They had us. Then here comes deck plate leadership. The chiefs need to be out in the deck plates. Now all these junior sailors are bypassing them first classes because now they don't have any power anymore. We are out here on the deck plates as chiefs, senior chiefs and master chiefs, doing the job of a first class petty officer. Why am I out here? And then we wonder why the first classes don't have any leadership because we're not giving them the power that they deserve or that they need in order to fill our shoes. And I used to apologize to first classes during the CPO season. I would talk to them.
You said something.
What?
Sorry, keep going. I'm sorry. But something you said, I want to put it back to Damo as a contrarian. So, but
always going against something. Right, here we go. But yeah.
That's the name of the episode too.
Contrary. But no, I used to apologize to them because I said, we took your power away. And when I was at VFA 37 and I was filling the role for our CMC before he had got there for like a couple of months, I was acting SEL. And I told our first class mess, I want to give you your power back. I need the junior sailors to know that you are in charge. I want you as first classes to come together and hash out sailor issues. If you can't figure it out, then yes, call us in this. We can help you to teach you how to resolve it or come to a solution or a conclusion or fix the situation. But I want y'all to at least try to do this on your own, that you learn. So by the time it's time for you to, walk across that red carpet because Navy Chief arriving, I want you to be equipped with the tools or the know-how or the resources or the network of people that's going to help you through those challenging moments, because there's no handbook for chiefs. Ain't no chiefing for dummies out here. Like, it's an experience, but that experience starts as soon as you put them in charge of somebody at your command. Hey, you better train them. Know what you want, Sunshine Boy.
Court, question. You mentioned about, hey, are you able, when you go on leave, are you able to like not check your phone? Is your phone blowing up? Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in using, are you Android or iPhone?
Who are you talking to?
Yeah, who?
Courtney, you Android or iPhone?
Android.
Android? Okay. Do you have a do not disturb function on your phone?
I do.
All right. Do you use that function?
No.
I usually ignore people sometimes. That's right.
I have boundaries. Some days I want to be bothered.
It ain't. I'm trying to say that Damo is
all the time. My phone rings. If my phone rings or a text message, depending on what I have going on, I don't know. And you got to set boundaries. You ain't got to answer the phone every time it rings. You ain't got to respond.
Yeah, you call me back. Hey, you but Aaron. Hey, love you. I was busy, or this, that, the third. I got you. What's up? Yeah. But Damo, I was trying to tell Damo like 3 episodes ago, like, hey man, if you protect your peace, man, sometimes just put the phone on D&D for like 30 minutes. He's like, nah, I ain't doing it. Nah, I ain't doing that. Nah. I'm like, yo, man, just do it.
Hey, my ringer is off. My ringer stays off.
Yeah, I don't have a ringer. I don't even know what a ringer look like. My shit, I mean, it go to my watch, but I don't even know what a ringer, how they sound. Like,
right.
Did you take what I said as I answer every call, Aaron?
No. I took it as, yo, man, like, I think you get distracted, you get pinged. Like me, like, I'm getting better now. If I put my phone, I put it down. I had a friend, fellow chief, she was like, yo, you different when you put your phone face down and be fully present. So I'm trying to make sure I'm fully present and not always trying to feel I got to answer every bing, like at work.
You know
what I mean?
No. I don't do that, Aaron. I don't do that.
Yeah, no, you get it. Yeah, I'm glad you work on that, my guy. Like, no, I'm trying to teach Tiffany that. Like, you can't stop answering the phone every single time it rings, because you're setting an expectation that you're going to answer every single time it rings. And so people are always going to call you. But if I'm like, hey, now I will respond depending on what it is and the priority. Like, I'll get back to you. But I'm like, I'm not picking up the phone every time it rings, because sometimes I might not be in the mindset to want to have a conversation about something. Sometimes I'm just tired. Like, I don't want to people.
Hey, Dom, you see that face she's making? That's what I remember we was on Push Again. She be cool. Yeah. What are you doing? What? No. Go with that. Yeah, that's what I do every day. You know what I'm saying? So
Every day.
Now, what I do got to get better with is having right now, and I think it's just because I'm brand new at my command. I really don't have those boundaries like with the office yet with sailors, and it's booming.
That's
Like it's like
understandable, though.
and I'm brand new, but it's like, all right, somebody just left. I remember the other day, I think it was like yesterday, somebody was walking out the office. And like I could hear their footsteps, and as they was walking out, somebody else was stepping in. Like, "Hey, CMC, you got some time?" I'm like,
right.
I do.
You gotta sit off.
And sometimes, yeah.
like 5 hours, my office hours off from.
Yeah, and I don't have them yet. And so I'm like, I was about to do something else. Like, and I'm like, well, give me like 1 minute. Let me knock this thing off real quick. You take a seat. Let me knock this thing off, and we could come. And I know some of it is because I'm brand new.
Mm-hmm.
So they want somebody fresh talk to and all that. But that's the one thing I have to work on that. It's another thing I can't say on the pod. I wish I could because it's super funny, but I can't talk about it on the pod because it's a public podcast, man. But it always happened around like 1700.
Oh yeah.
It's always something that happens around 1700. You know what I mean? So, but that made me think about this question, right? We could take a break from the other thing we were talking. It made me, so somebody asked us a question. I have not read this question yet. So I pulled it straight for the pod. So we going to see what this looked like. I don't know if you read it in the notes, Aaron, but I did not read this question yet.
I read 2 things in the notes, but I'm thankful that we have a DD214 qualified person who could keep it real the way we can't keep it real just yet. You know what I mean?
So to the person that asked this question,
okay.
Don't ever say quick question and then send me about 6 paragraphs, bro. That ain't quick. So he said, quick question, hoping you can answer on the next pod or just within the text is fine. Could you break down what is expected of a PO1? And that didn't have a question mark to the person that sent the question. That ain't had no question mark. But so you had a goal here.
Yeah.
It said, the reason I ask is I'm currently an instructor at a school and our curriculum chief took it upon himself to create our upcoming class schedule for the next fiscal year. How our classes are scheduled, Pensacola asked the instructors for their availability and we provide the information to create the schedule. I can see that being a real fucking hassle, but I'm going to keep going. He never asked for our input. Then he comes to me and asks, can I teach? And of course, the answer is yes. Long story short, and now this is a longer paragraph than the other one.
Long story short.
Shout out to you because we love you and we appreciate the support. So it says, long story short, he scheduled too many classes and we don't have the people to teach. I tell him we will have to combine the classes because we don't have the coverage. I do all the legwork, get a plan ready with the help of the training officer, lieutenant, who is an LDO because he is my department head. And we were talking about my reenlistment and I told him about we're going to have to combine the classes due to not having enough instructors. We worked through it. He informs me he likes the plan and route the paperwork tomorrow. I do that and I go hand the chief the paperwork and he doesn't even read it. He immediately shuts it down and says he is not going to sign it. I told him you can acknowledge the paperwork and just give it to the next person. He says no. Then this goes on and on. He asks another PO1 what's going on and proceeds to yell at him. Then later, female PO1 tells him the exact thing and he is all for it. He got everyone involved all the way up to the CO, and the female PO1 tells me that they're going with my plan and they told her she is doing a great job and they are not going to single anyone out, but she went about this the right way. More to the story, but that sums it up. Key info, this chief doesn't like me and has no reason not to. More to that part as well. You got to give us the more, man. It says, to sum it up, he checked in around the time I went to mass, but it was unjust and the CO got relieved. So that's the whole thing. Now, remember, the question is, could you break down what is expected of a PO1? Now, I'm going to do this only because these two things tie together and they tie in what you was just talking about, Courtney. Somebody else, they says, Have y'all already had a conversation on letting first and second classes assume the role? I had a diverse career so far, but too many times I've seen petty officers not allowed to lead. I'm open for discussion, but I've been West Coast, a detail in Millington, and now I'm East Coast. I got out of a class where a handful of first classes didn't know how to give a safety brief because they were not allowed to. As stated, I'm open for discussion, just curious. I responded to this person, and then they came back and they were pretty much like, he pretty much was like, when sellers go to you or when sellers go to chiefs, do you ask them if they even went to the first class or went to the second class before you help them solve the problem? So all that stuff together, back to that question, could you break down what's expected of a PO1?
So is this for me?
I know that was a lot.
Yeah.
Right, whoever.
Yeah, I'll defer to the queen here. What's up?
He's so silly. So it was like I had like a couple of questions when you were reading the expectations of a PO1. So the first thing I'm kind of curious about, or I feel like I might know the answer to this question, is that chief in question who turned down the petty officers, initiative to handle the classes. I wonder if they're a young chief. I wonder if they're young. The second thing is when the petty officer found out, hey, we have all these classes and not enough instructors. That petty officer did all the legwork himself. So he didn't get with the other first class petty officers as a mess to say, hey, this is what we have going on. This is my idea, my recommendation. I'm asking this because I don't know. It is like they didn't elaborate in that. So I'm just curious to know, did that individual do that? Come together with the first class mess as a whole to say, hey, does anybody have any ideas? And they all bring their ideas together and then together say, present this idea to the chief or to whoever it is, so that way it wouldn't seem like, hey, I did this. Knowing this guy don't like me, I'm gonna go turn this in. And then he says, no, I don't like it. But then somebody else gets the idea or finds out and runs with the idea. And all of a sudden now he's accepting of that. So I'm kind of like, did he just do it by himself? Or did he do it with the chief's mess? As far as the expectation,
like he did it with an officer.
Yeah, and when you were reading that about the whole, talking to the division officer, the reenlistment, all of that, did you skip over the chief, and had that conversation first with the officer and then backtracked and went and told the chief? Like when the Divo said it was cool, now you got to do it too. That's kind of like you can feel kind of disrespected, like a slap in the face if that happens. I would. But as far as the expectations of a first class petty officer, no. If I can tell you for me, as a fire master chief, that if I had a first class that came to me and said, hey, I did all of this, X, Y, and Z, this is how we're going to get through it, but if you're coming to me, my first question is going to be, hey, did you talk to the other first classes? Are they on board with it? Because again, we want them to lead. We want them to come up with decisions on their own, to be independent, critical thinkers, to solve problems. Because I should not be working harder than the petty officer at a command. Like that is, I'm sorry, we got it messed up if I have to do more work or I have to put in more. So I'm just trying to figure out what were the steps in that? Because I would expect that petty officer, first class petty officer, to do exactly what he did, to come up with an idea, come up with a solution, present it to me, and figure out how we could move forward. But I would want to make sure that everybody was on board before we, as a united front, went and presented this to whoever else it needed to be presented to. If it was, the training director or the CEO to say, hey, this is what we got. This was the issue. This is how we solved it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been in those shoes before as a first class, and I think, and probably not his specific shoes because he said his more the story like 3 different times.
Right.
So he said that shit 3 different times.
I was like, I need to know the story.
But if it's been times where I'm like, hey, chief, let us take it. Right. Let us take it. Let us like I've never been quiet about it. If I've been vocal, like let us do it, chief. And hold us accountable if it fails. Like, but give us the weight. Let us fucking do it. Let's see what happens. Right. I'm one of them see what happens kind of people. Like, let us do it. Let's see if it ain't gonna kill nobody. Let's see what happens. Aaron,
that's how you learn. That's how you learn what works and what doesn't work. But yeah, shout out to that first class for trying to make something happen. It's not your fault. Like, you have some leadership out here that's all about, they have that power thing going on. If they figure out a reason why they don't want to like you about something, they'll just use it against you for no reason. Like, it's sad, but it does happen. Aaron, what you got?
What was that face for, Aaron? What's up, man?
That was a regular Aaron face, man. It wasn't normal. You just
that was a 70 and slightly breezy outside face.
Well, I got a rage gauge and I'm on simmer. It didn't go. Oh, it's good, man. You're good.
Yeah, all right.
You know what that is, Courtney. So it's all good.
Lord have mercy.
What was it?
I'd had this random Batman thought. Like some men like to see the world burn. Remember when he said that, Michael Caine?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, for sure.
But they can rule over the ass.
He was like, hey man, let him roll, man. Let's light this firecracker. Let's go.
Yeah, just do it. Like, just do it, man. I want you to lead, bro. Like, I want you to take charge of everything. Like, I got an instruction, like brand new command. It's this group. It's called Sailors with a Vision. They want to make this group in my command. I got a logo for it, everything. And I guess it's
Sailors with a Vision?
Yeah, Sailors with a Vision.
90s R&B joint. Is Tevin Campbell in this group?
Yeah, Sailors with a Vision. Yeah, that's what it's called.
You got any Leverts in there? What's up?
They were wild and they were free and they were blessed with. I know what you're talking about. So then I got old. So Sailors with a Vision. You remember that song? It's all to see. You will know.
That was the what soundtrack was that?
Oh, Quincy Jones album.
Bokeem joint, right? Bokeem.
It was
Clockers? Was that Clockers?
No.
Frederick Starr was in it?
No, Jada Pinkett, Alan Payne, Jason's Lyric.
Oh, Jason's Lyric.
Oh, yeah. Jason's Lyric.
One of the wildest. Bokeem. Bokeem was in it. One of the wildest movies in the world. But and I could get a Jason's Lyric, how crazy that shit was. So so the group that they trying to come up with.
Vision.
It had like all this, have a chief, like make a chief the head lead and didn't have a first class assistant. I'm like, yo, take the chief out.
Right.
Take the chief out.
Right.
Just do this. Like, do it. You got a direct line. It was like, yeah, if we want to talk to the triad, we need to have this and that. I'm like, get rid of all that. Like, talk to the triad. Like, it's that easy. So that's some of the stuff that I get to bring. There's just some like, and I think they so used to dealing with yellow tape. And I ain't just talking about sellers at my command. I'm talking about sellers in general. They so used to like, man, in order to get this to the triad, we got to do this. No, let's get rid of all that yellow tape. You don't need no chief to be the figurehead of the program. Like,
chief's got to be on the deck plates. That's what they're used to.
I just had a thought about something too. You just said about just letting them go. The first class association I have, they was asked, hey, who's the mess mentor for them? Yeah. And I'm like, shouldn't that default? I mean, you have the CMC, you should have access to anybody in Chief's mess. Yeah. Hey, Chief, such and such, you come to our meeting rather than being designated as the designated mentor. I might have a conversation with them. Like, yo, man, do you feel you need a mentor if you just got access to all of us?
Right.
Yeah. You ready for the worst segue in the history of Permission to Speak Freely?
That's saying something, man.
All right. Courtney, how the hell did Mike find out about you and Tara?
Lord have mercy. Let me tell you. Yeah, you ain't lying. I was like, Lord.
How did that happen?
It's like you watching one movie, all of a sudden it flips over to a whole other movie that doesn't do nothing. Like,
so for the listeners, let's get y'all kind of caught back up. Right? So Courtney is living life. At some point, drunk. Another Mike.
Whoa. He said living life. She was not like, yo, let's get it. Nah. Or maybe she was you?
No, living life means the last place we touched was her just getting to a ship, right? Now she's on the ship for a while. Another Mike is in her life, right? Man named Mike. They again still kind of figure life out for herself, like how she sees it, stuff like that. So someday, somewhere downtown Norfolk, I feel like, drunk.
We're at Waterside.
Yeah, right there. And this dude proposes. And what I hated about this story was that somebody from some building was like, say yes, girl, or something, right? You don't know who this guy is or what he put this lady through to be screaming from the balcony, say yes.
They're like, no, this is awkward. Yes.
He could be the worst man.
My God, right. Don't know nothing about that. Oh my God, it was rough.
So You do say yes. You do marry him. And I think at this point in life, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, I think at this point in life, you trying to force something on yourself that like you're just trying to just abide by the status quo or however life should be.
Yeah.
And by the way, at the same time, the Navy got don't ask, don't tell going on. Anyway.
Oh, yes.
So it's like, all right, let me do this because this is what the social construct tells me that I need to do. Then you go work at the Mount Trashmore YMCA.
Mm-hmm. 3 years, I think I was there.
You go meet, is it Tara or Tara? I kind of forgot.
Tara.
All right, so you go meet Tara. And y'all fall for each other. And then a part of it that kind of where I'm happy that I'm happy you spelled it out was throughout most of this book, you spelling out like trying to find your like sexuality and like as far as what like really pleased you about that part of life. And the men wasn't really doing it, you know?
No.
By the way, Mike is on some weird, kinky, like you need to have real shit on anyway, right?
Like,
and y'all got to read the book to get the whole thing. But now the first moment you have with Tara is sparks fly, right?
Yeah.
You said something in the book that I won't repeat. Y'all got to read the book for that. But sparks fly in that very first moment. And y'all start engaging in some extracurricular activities, even though you're married and she's in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, somehow he finds out. But the book didn't say how he found out. He called, so he did what he did though was foul. He like what he did. So, hey, for the listeners, I'm gonna shut up. This shit is.
I'll tell you how he found out. Though.
This shit, he calls pretty much under duress. So she come home and he like, oh no, I ain't under duress. I ain't under duress. What you been doing with?
Furniture thrown all over. How do you find out? The house. Like, why my furniture turned over? What's going on? But back in them days, he used to have like Yahoo Messenger and like them little chat rooms and AOL Mail and all that. He was just wilding out, right? I was all in them chat rooms. Of course, the gay ones. Didn't nobody know. But I was all in the little chat rooms and stuff and emails and nobody was really concerned about passwords and having a password to log in and stuff. And so he logged into my email or opened up Yahoo Mail or something. I think he had a feeling that something was going on, but just wasn't sure. So he went to my email and he saw like the emails between me and Tara. And then that's how it was. I guess that's what made him, I'm coming home. Type thing. And he ended up calling the YMCA. And I never forget, I was at the front desk and Donna, she was like our like front desk manager at the time. She was like, hey, Courtney, Mike's on the phone for you. Sounds like he says he's having a heart attack. Something's going on. He needs you to come home. And I'm like, what's going on? I answer the phone and he's crying and telling me he's having a heart attack. I need to come home. And I'm like, what? So of course, I ain't live too far from Mount Trashmore. So I go home, walk inside. All my furniture is flipped the hell over. I'm like, what is happening? I don't know. What's going on? I'm just trying to figure out what's happening. And he's sliding down a wall crying. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? And then all I could do was go into I had a second bedroom at that time that was like set up as an office. And I go into the bedroom, I see the email open and I'm like, I just came back because it was like, I was just like straightforward. I was like, I don't even know what you want me to tell you. Like, that's how I don't even know what you want me to tell you. Like, as he on the floor crying, I had nothing. Like, what can you say? That was gonna make a difference at that point, So, yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was wild time. Wild time.
Did he love you?
I think he did, and it's sad because I never forget my cousin Shagan. He came to the Navy. My Uncle Tim's oldest son. He came to the Navy, and we went to go meet him for dinner one evening, and we were driving. And I think this might have been after the situation that he had found out. And he had asked me if I loved him. And I said, and I no kidding, I straight out and said, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Mm-hmm. And that was just like, that just solidified everything for us. It's like, I loved him. He was a good dude. Again, it wasn't the guys. It was me. These guys weren't bad guys. These gentlemen in my life, they were not bad. It was just me. I destroyed their lives. You know, that's how I looked at it. Like it was me.
So at some point, he asked you if you were gay.
Yep, in the car coming back from the mall.
Driving somewhere.
Yeah, right? we just parked. We were coming back from the mall. We had just got back to the apartment, sitting in the car. And I don't even remember what transpired for him to ask me that question. Yeah, and he came to ask me. He was like, "Are you gay?" And I just remember sitting there going, like, "Why would you ask me that question?" And it was like, do I say something now or do I just like play it off? And I was just like, "Nah, what are you talking about?" Because I didn't know how to handle the reaction I might have received. Because I hadn't thought it through that far. Like, how would I react to his reaction? No. So it's like, I hadn't thought this process out. So no, I'm going to say the safe thing to say no. So I don't have to deal with anything right now because I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't have nothing set up for a comeback if something was to happen. So I just said no.
Yeah. So y'all go through a tumultuous time to the point that y'all, it's over. Y'all split. I think he left with like a photo that you got from overseas. I think.
Yeah, my Last Supper photo, my wine cabinet. I was just, at this point, I was like, I think it was the guilt in me because I did this to him that I was like, just take whatever you want. Like, I'll replace it. Don't even worry about it. Just take whatever you want and just go because it's my fault, that I was just on that guilt trip to the point that even I was giving this man money every month. Here I am at E5 at this point. Yeah. Giving him money every month for him to survive. But I was barely surviving on my own. And my mom knew too, which was crazy. Mamas always know. She knew something was wrong. And so I had not yet told her everything that was wrong at that time. Because again, Southern Baptist, going to hell, who do you talk to? You don't know nobody like you. You don't know how your mom's going to react or your family's going to react. So nobody knew. But she was the one, I remember she cussed me out when she found out. You giving that man money? I was like, that's when I stopped it. I said, you're a grown ass man. You got to figure this thing out for yourself. Like, I got to figure it out for me. You got to figure it out for you. And I cut him off.
Now, I'm not sure. I'm asking this question, assuming you know the answer. And you probably don't. Does he understand now what was going on back then? Does he get it now?
I couldn't even tell you. I ain't talked to that dude since. They ain't seen high nor heard of here. I ain't seen nothing. I have no idea. Like we don't really have any mutual friends, so I have no idea.
Yeah, never really heard from him that much. Yeah. So, pretty much after y'all split, you probably never saw him again ever in life, or you ran into him. Okay.
Mm-mm. I ain't never ran into him. Nothing. Now that you say this, why can't something happening? I'm gonna be like, God dang it.
Yeah, you gonna see him like, oh, there you are. So another thing I want to, and now what you bought like 24, 25-ish around that time?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking 23, 24.
Yep.
So now it's a few things happening now, right? You finally free of a facade. Oh, well, not necessarily, but a major weight of the facade is being married to a man that you don't necessarily, that you're not in love with, right? Like you said. But also now learning, like you've done it. You did the experiment, for lack of a better, like you did it. Mm-hmm. You tried it. It didn't work for you. Your heart is where your heart is, Tara. But while you're going through this now, you had to come out to your mom. You just talked about that. So that's happening, right? So you're going through a divorce. It's some financial stuff happening. Because I'm reading this book like, damn, it's a lot happening in this moment, right? It's some financial stuff happening. And Tara ain't really got it like that from the story, from
not at all.
The book. She wasn't really having it like that. But now you also now you got to come out to your mom and deal with how she responds to that. But you're also in the Navy that doesn't necessarily accept your lifestyle. Like, it's the whole don't ask, don't tell.
When I tell you my life was in shambles, when I tell you, like, that breakthrough, like, it was just like the whole Mike situation was like one layer that came off, right? Yeah. I'm still being held hostage. I got one layer, like one piece that's like, all right, we starting to get a little loose. But then having to have a conversation with my mom and trying to speak on it without telling her exactly and just saying, there's this girl that I like. And I just remember her saying like, well, if Mike was doing what he was supposed to be doing in the bedroom, I was over here like, oh, Jesus Christ, like what? Because I'm thinking to myself, like, he ain't doing nothing. I'm like, I got a headache. I'm on a cycle. I'm asleep. Like, I'm trying to dodge that bullet any which way I can. And just, going through that, because I don't know how my family is going to take this. Like, I don't want to be the one that's like, we're going to shut you out, just get rid of you. I just don't know. And, talking about me, and that's still true for a lot of, individuals today. They are struggling. One, they're struggling to accept themselves because you don't really want to be different from anybody, especially if you don't know nobody like you. You're scared to step out and be your own true self because fitting in brings you greater validation than being, different. People, it's a thing. And so I told my mom, and we didn't speak for like a hot second because she was, hey, don't ask, don't tell, don't ruin your career. You come too far. You're going to mess this up. Like, how dare you? It was a whole thing. And it was even so bad. Like, I remember one time me and Tara went home. She came home with me to visit my family. And one of my mom's friends had, like, my mom was talking to me somewhere, like in a room or something. And I think my mom's friend had Tara somewhere talking to her. And then come to find out later on, like on our way back home up to VA, she was like, do you know that that lady was talking to me about being gay and, having a relationship? And I was like, what? And I think that's really when I stopped talking to my mom for a little bit, because don't do that. Like, I was just like, oh my God, here we go. And we didn't speak for a while. Like, we really, really didn't. But I think it was when my mom saw that, again, I can show you better than I can tell you. I was good. I was on my own.
Yeah.
I was paying my bills. I wasn't asking you for any help. I didn't need you, like, in that moment for anything, because I was going to survive without you. And I think the fear of it all kind of went away a little bit. But it was still hard trying to say, oh, my daughter's not married anymore. Now she has a girlfriend. You go from that, like, what? Mom didn't want to be looked at funny anyway. So, it was a transition piece for real.
Yeah, that hit me when you wrote that. The book was funny. Like, some parts were funny when you wrote, like, somebody be like, hey, how's she doing? And you're like, well, she's not married. She's in love with women.
Right.
But one of the things that hit me as well in the book was, in those chapters was about, like, and you didn't lay it out, so I don't know how you felt about it, but from listening to you talk, and it sounded like around like 7 is like the first recollection of, nah, this is like who I am. To sound like around 7, right? So, but from 7 to whatever year it is that you finally do decide to tell your mom about something that you've been dealing with, you finally relieved the valve on some pressure from your life from 7. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like your mom's first response is, you're going to mess up your career.
Yeah.
And it hit me like, damn.
Yeah.
And what did that mean anything to you when she brought up the career? Like, yo, I'm telling you, it's my life. What R. Kelly say? It's my life.
I'm fighting for my life.
We weren't so emotionally in tune like we are today. Like, today, if she would have said it, I'd have been like, did you not hear what I just said, though? Back then, it was just like, don't mess up your career. It's like, I'm not going to mess up my career. I know what I'm doing, because I'm still young. But now today, as we get all this emotional IQ training and all this sensitivity training and all this being aware of your feelings and stuff,
there's access to, so.
Right. Like, it would have bothered me today, of course, if she would have, I'd have been like, no, that's what your response is. You're going to mess up your career. Not that I've been holding this in, or how long did you know, or why didn't you say something sooner? You didn't say that. You said you're going to mess up your career. Today, that would have bothered me. Then I didn't know no better.
Now, did Tara understand Don't Ask, Don't Tell?
I think she did.
Okay.
I think she did. Because we all, like, everybody knew what that was, Everybody knew what that was.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I asked that, because I think Don't Ask, Don't Tell, because Obama repealed that, right?
Yep, like 2011 or 2012. I want to say it was 2011.
Yeah. So when I first got to the ship, it was people, that were gay, and their significant others, some of them was struggling with their significant others, like, not accepting that rule. For the holiday. I remember the holiday party was a big one. People like, man, like, the person I'm with, they mad because, when I bring them to the holiday party, I gotta say they my best friend, or, my this or that, in certain events on a ship, and I like, and it just make that period in life had to fucking suck.
It did. there were so many times when I remember I got to FRC Oceana and I was working in 400 Division. And we used to have like, they would want to do like little outings and dinners and things like that. Oh, bring your significant others. And it was just like, they sick. I just wouldn't go. I felt bad because I wanted to be there. I'm a people person. Like I love showing up to stuff. I love being with people. And to be denied that because of who I was with or, just in my mind, who I was sleeping with. Why is that any of your business? That's weird. I'm not in your bedroom. Why are you in mine? You know what I mean? Like that's weird to me. Right. But to be denied that because of who I was with, it really did suck because you still were not completely free. You were still held captive to some extent. And, and for the individuals that were involved with service members who were, under this time of don't ask, don't tell, it's one of those things where they're not going to understand. Okay, they're comfortable because they can be who they want to be. But it's like if you really care about somebody, if you really love that individual, you have to understand and put yourself in their shoes. We couldn't come out and just like, you're risking my career. You're risking the dollars, the food on the table, the roof over my head. You're risking probably the only thing I've ever had in my life. And you're mad at me because I just can't. It's like, if you love me, you will understand that. It's not the pressure. And a lot of times, for me, I'm just thinking like, that's why relationships don't survive, because give me grace. Walk this journey with me, understand. And, eventually it'll be what it's supposed to be. But it was Tara for me. She didn't really, I don't think she ever really came to anything with me. I didn't really invite her to anything because of that. She really been to any Navy events with me at that time. But it wasn't an issue either.
It's just, man, I'm just thinking about like just the whole idea, like, hey, in order to be successful at my job, and that's a huge addition to just in order to keep the fucking job, right? In order to have this job, I gotta mask or I gotta hide like pretty much who I am as a person. I gotta hide.
I gotta be uncomfortable to make you comfortable. That's how it is.
Or if you don't present a certain way, then hey, you know what? You cannot be considered for certain positions because we think you are or how we want you to have this certain image. That's pressure as well.
Yeah, and it's too much to think about. Like I don't like to think hard. I don't want to think that hard. It's too much to have to think about.
Oh my goodness!
I am a bad overthinker, and I'm like, don't give me more
to have to think about.
Please don't. Please don't.
You got to plan everything. You're like, how am I going to get through this? You're asking, and then you're like, okay, if somebody asks me this question, what's going to be my answer? Like, we're always having to have like a bag of stuff to reach into to have a responsive ask. Like, you got to play it off, and it becomes a freaking burden. It really becomes a burden, and people crack under pressure. It can either, turn you into a diamond, or I don't know, or crack you. I don't know. For me, I ended up cracking, and I had a whole mental breakdown over all this stuff. And it was just because it was so much.
Yeah. And you outlined that in the book too. Another thing you talked about in the book, I kept catching it, was like this sense of imposter syndrome that I feel like you dealt with. And I deal with it too still. I actually still deal with that shit. I call it toxic humility. Like that's what I call it for myself. Like just toxic humility. Like
false modesty.
Yeah, like toxic, like, I ain't ready for that yet. Like, I ain't ready. And every now and then, like, somebody tries to remind me that I'm not, but I realize that, you can feel that, huh? That happens sometimes. Like, there's somebody there that's, like, tries to let me know I'm, like, that validates my imposter syndrome.
Right.
But I do well. Like, I'm not hampered down by it. Like it ain't like in my closet. Like, hey man, you can't do that. Like that ain't my imposter syndrome. Just every now and then I might get asked to do something and I'd be like, nah, they don't want me. They want like the CMCs that been in the Navy I ain't been over 20. I'm like, they want the CMCs been in the Navy over 25 years. That ain't a thing for the 18 year CMC. I'm still.
But then somebody got to do it. Like somebody got to do it.
And the thing is, if God, and I was just telling somebody this because I'm getting familiar, but if God called you to do something or whatever, if God put you in a position to do something, he know you could do it. Like it doesn't matter what you think or what anybody else think. That's the position that you're supposed to be in.
Your presence has a purpose.
Just accept it. Yep, just accept it. And you had to do that a lot in your career, right? You got pulled from doing something small to something bigger. Like, oh no, we need you, to do admin for these 2,000 people. Then it's like,
Right.
oh no, this person here, they building up a brand new command, and he wants you here to do this. And every step you're like, I don't know.
Every single step, I was fighting it.
Yeah, but you had some good. And I want to get the Great Lakes because I know Aaron got a lot there. You had some good help advocacy along the way, and one of them is this, and I forgot his name for sure. But he was an AZ1, and he was there when you made first. Then he became a chief, and then he recruited you to go to the enterprise. He was there for you. You actually came out to him.
He was the first person I told. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Ben Mills.
That was. Yeah. What was his name?
Ben Mills.
Ben Mills, right? And that was dope. Now, do you still keep in contact with him?
Oh yeah, I was in his retirement ceremony. Okay. Yeah, he made Master Chief. I made Master Chief. It was just crazy to watch it grow, and he crazy as all hell. That guy was. I mean, anybody knows him, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Crazy, but in a very he gonna teach you a lesson, a hard lesson, but it's for your good. Like he had good intention. But I will never forget. We were at the golf course getting lunch one day at Oceana and having a conversation, and I told him I was gay, and he was like, "Get the fuck out of here! No, you're not. What? Why would I just say it? Like what? Just what I mean." But he was the first one that I'd ever told. And when I tell you, talk about that pressure release valve, I always tell people you got to have a pressure release valve in your life. If it's a person, a bottle of wine, working out, drawing, reading, listening to music, you got to have something that's going to be able to take that stress and the weight off of you when you need it. And he was my pressure release valve at that time. And, to know that I wasn't judged, I wasn't looked at crazy, nothing between him and I changed. I felt, I don't even know how I felt. Like it was an amazing time at that moment. To be able to have that at least one trusted agent that I could talk to. Now when I'm having issues at home, or now we're arguing, now I can come to work and be like, man, let me tell you what she did last night. Just somebody I can talk to now instead of sitting here like, God dang, like just, whoo. Yeah, he was that guy.
Yeah. All right, so I'm about to get to Great Lakes, and I'm going to shut up when I get to Great Lakes because y'all did some stuff together, right? But I got a couple questions, but I'm going to shut up. But before I get to Great Lakes, you made the women's birthing sound like hell in that book. Like, yo, if you get on the wrong side, your rack is getting urinated on, like straight up. Like, back in whatever days that was.
Yeah, it happened. Right? Yeah, this was I got an enterprise.
There's gangs in New York, man.
They built different. Like you gotta be good with everybody. Just
like I know women like pee different than men too. So like saying in the men's birthing. So I guess it's either going in the cup. It's either going in the cup and spilled over, or somebody is laying on your joint and violating your situation. Like, I just think that's crazy. Like, I would be so mad. Men's birthing, I can understand.
The whole, just some people within the female birthing, they can make it, a little rough for others, but yeah.
Yeah, and the men's birthing, I could get it though. You came in the cubicle and you stood over my joint and you peed. Not a lot of effort.
Cats just scrapping the birth. They don't be doing all that. Yo, man, hey, what's up, yo? Start dumping and then that's it.
So,
yeah.
Again, right before Great Lakes, because this is like kind of timed with your book. What's your 6F? What's these 6 Fs that you brought up? 6 Fs that you... The first one was, wow. What's the
first one is real. This one is real. Like, I don't understand the problem. I was
reading the book, right? And somewhere in the book, I'm like, did Courtney have a hidden like player phase that's almost spelled out in this book, but I can't catch it? I was trying to catch it. Like my man Amori Paciano book, like he was just, look, Monday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. But I'm like, did Courtney have this phase and I'm just not grasping it?
Oh, I had a phase.
What's your 6 Fs?
I didn't tell everything in that book now, but I did have a phase. I was there. I was in the streets. But yeah, my 6 Fs, man, listen, and it's so funny because somebody be like, oh, I was thinking about your 6 Fs the other day. It's gotten me through, and I clean it up for my kids at school, though, because I can't say the first word. But, the first word is your standard, if nobody, because I think about, we give too much time and energy to people in our lives who do not matter. And if you give a clown your attention, they're going to keep on performing. Nobody was born to be in a circus. So along with my boundaries came, hey, why am I allowing this person to trigger me? And I'll go through the 6 Fs in my head: fucking, feeding, financing, family, the first and the 15th. If you are not contributing to them 6 things in my life, why am I giving you the satisfaction of getting on my nerves? Why am I giving you my power? Like, nah, go ahead and kick rocks, man. Like, I'm not doing it. So yeah, my 6 Fs have been in a lot of charge books. They have been in
I mentioned it in different circles of carried on tradition.
Yeah, it's a thing. And, because at least everybody's going to get paid at least twice a month, no matter what job or career field that you're in.
Not lately. I'm going to talk about that too.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about right now, though, eventually.
I got hell if I do better. Yeah.
But yeah, my 6 Fs, they ground. They keep me grounded. I don't know about nobody else. Keep me grounded. I'm not entertaining everybody and everything. I got boundaries.
So you get back to Great Lakes, right? And here we are, right? I got a couple questions about it, but Aaron been kind of quiet, so I'm gonna shut up before a little bit.
I'm letting it build, man. I ain't quiet, letting it build, man.
Say again.
Not quiet, just conversation goes. You know what I'm saying?
Let it build.
Yeah, just listen. As a contrarian, you know what I mean?
Oh my God, right.
Yeah, you catch it. I both say it, get back for a second. Letting it build is a nasty word. Letting it build is nasty.
Me.
But yeah, so RDC. So RDC, right? Great Lakes. It's a lot there. It's things I want to ask about, but it sounds like y'all did time together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What was that?
Highs and lows. So I can tell you, Aaron, from C school.
No, sorry. You said Aaron. What the? So
now I was gonna say, working with this guy, he is that good balance, because I am if nobody's ever been to RDC, you have 3 RDCs, you got to figure out like where you're going to fit in, because everybody can't all go hard in the paint. Kids going to off themselves. So you got to figure out how you're going to balance this off, and so sometimes you got to flip the switch, flip your hat, figure to make it work. It's not going to be seamless, but to just try to make it work so you can make the most impact with the short amount of time that you have with, brand new individuals who are trying to change their lives. But one thing I can say about Aaron is that what you see now is exactly what you're going to get. I will never forget, we had this older Black male tattooed up. I can't think of his name. And he was solid, but he had an attitude problem. He didn't want to be there to begin with. He wasn't going to take no instruction from nobody. And I just remember one day, Aaron put him in, we call it the little cutout where the gear locker was. It's like a beat box or a hot box or whatever you want to call it. Aaron beat the brakes off this guy. When I say down to parade rest to humble beginnings, that guy changed, and that graduation, he was grateful for that moment. But working with somebody like that is on the same mindset with you, where we're both in it because we want to see these individuals rise. We know you've come from a hard place if that's what you're escaping from, but there's greater out here for you. You gotta fix your mindset. And sometimes your mindset has to be broken so it can be rebuilt again. And he was the epitome of doing that. Great Lakes is an adventure as Great Lakes turned, because I promise you it's going to always be some drama. At least it was when we were there. But it was the hardest job. I would know Ken to say the hardest job of my career, but it was also the most rewarding job of my career. The most challenging things you face in life bring you the greatest rewards. And RTC did that, I think, for both of us, because now he's a whole command master chief. He was always one. He's a whole command master chief now. And I think Great Lakes.
My trials over there too. So
right. And again, trusting that process. When people are telling you no, I always tell people no just means next opportunity. If somebody's telling you no right now, keep trying. Go figure out another pathway, another way to get to it, because the opportunity is going to be granted. But at the same time, understand that everybody in your circle is not necessarily going to be in your corner. So you got to find the people that's going to be in your circle and your corner that's going to have your back. And it was a couple of us, like the individuals he mentioned before, that were always here for him, because we knew what type of person that he was, and we knew his intention, we knew his impact, we knew his reach, we knew his passion. And it was like, hey, like if you stay true to who you are, hey, we're going to help you do some things. And to be able to see, him become a part, be a C-school instructor, which is what I knew he wanted to do, and having to finesse that to make sure to say like, no, you are going to forget what happened, getting the red rope pull, getting mentioned in some stuff that was just outlandish, didn't even happen, but somebody had to make you an example. And it's being stressed out about it, and still was hitting the pavement every day, grinding, not stopping. It was, no, we're going to go to bat for you. We're going to say, no, stick our necks out to make sure that he got what he deserved, because we thought he deserved to be an RDC instructor. That's the pinnacle. You're teaching people how to train people to be in the Navy. You can't get no higher than that. And he was deserving of it. So it was definitely a time. And grateful for it.
Y'all picked me up, man. But you have a chapter in your book called Power Influence, and RTC is one of them commands where it'll make you or break you, but if it makes you, it makes you. You walk different. They always said that the top 10% of the Navy is an RDC. Like, nah, it's the top 10% after you leave, because you just have such a different viewpoint on things and the connections you make and in the rooms you're in. But I just wrote it down. I don't want to say from like 2013 to 2017, in my opinion, the leaders, but the women who are leaders, y'all like the Dora Milaje or something, man. Like I think about y'all and the impact y'all had, and with everything with the hair policies and everything, what was it? It was you, Cassandra, Tangela, Vicky, Latricia, Samira, like all y'all, that group, man. It's just like you all shattered the mold of what some people thought leadership was, for one, and then women leadership, and then I said Black women leadership. Y'all kind of kicked the door in. You're here because you're a token. No. Y'all did things because you're overqualified, and y'all led with distinction.
Yeah.
And for you, I used to go to your office in Golden 13 at my lowest, and that's when you were right in the middle of going through stuff with you, with the whole the weigh-ins and all this stuff. And I don't know if it was your leg, your ankle, or your knee that was toe up. I remember you was limping during C-School PT, and C-School PT will break you. I don't care how fit you are. And you still took the time to just be there for me. Like, hey, sit down. You're looking angrier than usual. What was wrong with you? And it just, so yeah, man, y'all, anybody that talks about women in leadership, I always think about that group. I reference y'all guys all the time. So,
Well, you touched on, I gotta get my tissue, man. It was Brenda, Letitia, Linda, Alicia, Dawn, LaShawn.
That time period, they're all officers or CMCs or working at.
No. That was beautiful. That between both of y'all, that was amazing. Now, but you hinted at something Courtney went through, and she brought up in a book, and I mean that to man. And now y'all just kind of got at something you went through that I wasn't even tracking. So every time I hear about you as an RDC, is somebody in the comments like, yo, this dude was amazing or great or I loved him. And like, that's all I ever hear. I didn't even know nothing about a situation happened where you got your red rope pulled or whatever like that. But because that is what y'all just kind of alluded to, right? I'm not tripping, right? Okay.
No,
I was referencing Navy Times without being my name written in there. Yeah.
Right.
Now, you, Courtnney, in your book somewhere, you said resiliency is preached and practiced, but never accepted, right?
Oh,
I wrote that down, bro. Yeah.
Your boy is on it, man. I mean,
Good job.
Hey, this podcast does the work, does the research. That is a staple.
I like it.
And it made me think about Scarlet Letters. And I do want to get to your, you also said something else about fear, right? Face everything and run, or face everything and rise, right? And you said you face everything and rose. And we are, for the listeners, we kind of I had a crazy thing I was about to say. I'm slow walking into her, what happened, because I want to talk about the scarlet letters first, because we got a tendency to do that a lot in the Navy without actually putting a stamp on it. And I had a conversation about it very recently about like double jeopardy, or double to triple to quadruple to quintuple, like punishing people for something that they did. Right. As a matter of fact, it was one of those new SecDef letters that was talking about that. But it's like, all right, the person did something. They went to mass. They got whatever they got awarded from mass. Right. Maybe they got an adverse eval.
Right.
Maybe they got fired from a committee.
Right.
Maybe they got told that they couldn't do a collateral.
Right.
Maybe they got fired from the LCPO or LPO spot.
Right.
Like, it's almost like you take 8 L's at the same time for doing one thing. And then, by the way, now you got to work your way back up into just the light or the good graces of people.
Right.
From one thing that happened, you know, whether it be a failed weigh-in or a bad decision or getting looped up into like the wrong thing, where you never inherently changed as a person. It was just this one thing that happened.
Yeah. And it stuck with me for 5 years after that.
And that's crazy. So yours was, now, before we get into that, my question for y'all is this: is that just human nature that we do that? Or is that a cultural, some commands in the Navy kind of thing, where we give people these scarlet letters?
I think it's cultural.
Cultural, but also I say both, but it's more so culture. I mean, you think about the chief selections, right? They put in there, one slip up should not, end your career. But we got this quote unquote 5-year penalty box that some people want to carry on.
Yeah.
Bullshit. No, this person had a slip up, and then they're freaking SEAL of the year ×3 overqualified. Oh, well, it ain't even 5 years yet. What?
Right.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Right.
You know? And people are too scared to kind of buck the unwritten house rules. They think they have to carry that on.
Yeah.
So I think it is cultural.
I don't remember, like, after the RTC thing, I'll get into that. But I remember fast forward, and I went to my command after RTC, and I was up for Master Chief, and I was just like, when I didn't make it the first time, I was like, okay, cool. I'm still young in the Navy. I was impressed, right? It'll come when it comes. But then, a couple of times, I was like, okay, this is crazy. And so I no kidding remember, I think it was, I had talked to, at the time, Forrest Cole, Kareem Cole. I was talking to him about it. Because I was like, I did not understand how a 1% body, like over, 1% over body fat is held to the same level as somebody going to captain's mast. That part, I think, is what threw me. Because either way, we were both waiting 5 years for it to fall off our record. That is what threw me. And I was like, but meanwhile, I did everything as far as trying to bounce back, because we were preaching resiliency. Be resilient. How are you bouncing back? How are you still pressing forward? I did everything and more. Led a CPO season, was on a PT committee, took over fit at Great Lakes, like running PFAs 3 times a week and a run clinic on a Saturday. What more do you want?
Yeah.
But you still weighing what I did with the same weight as somebody going to captain's mast or whatever the case may be, or, being a sexual predator or something. I'm like, what? That was the issue I had a problem with. So, yeah, it's a cultural thing. I don't think nobody else would probably do that.
Yeah. Even outside the Navy, like, it's a couple of like unredeemable like things that people could do, right? That we hold them to forever, right?
Right.
Like Bill Cosby ain't never going like that, right? Sexual.
R. Kelly ain't gonna never
be.
Yeah, R. Kelly ain't never gonna be redeemed, right?
Somebody gonna buy that out when he come back, when he get released.
Yeah, here and there, but on a grand level, no matter how much time he could do 60 years in jail, and no matter how much time he do in jail, There's you're never going to bounce back, right?
A slip up and a life altering, infraction, they can't be weighed the same. They should.
And that was my thought process. Yep.
Them cats, like, you affected lives and a company and all these things versus had a bad day or had a human lapse in judgment. Trust. I could definitely think about that, having a lapse in judgment in a moment. You know what I mean? So
it's just crazy to know. And this don't got nothing to do with R. Kelly and them no more. I'm off that. I gotta say that before I say
no Kells. Hey.
It's crazy to know that none of us are perfect, but the lens that we put on people when they make mistakes,
right?
Is sick.
Right.
Right. Especially leadership. Houses. Yeah. Especially leadership. It's like, damn, you can't, like, failing a PFA is like most leaders' biggest fear. Like, you might have to go on FEP. You might have to go on FEP. But now look at what it did to you. It did a lot. Like, you felt, you felt away in by 1% or something, and it did all that.
But it depends on how you accept it. And that's why I said I had a choice of facing everything and running or facing everything and rising. And I had a choice. And because at the same time, there was another guy, senior chief, that did it too. His reaction was to go out here raising hell and speaking on my behalf. Player, don't speak on my behalf. I don't need you speaking. We're not doing that, because now you're going to put me in a bad light. I'm here over the drill hall with you doing office work.
You got to be the person to control your narrative to the best of your ability. Right? Mine got pulled. I was the next 360 PT. What's up, y'all?
Yep.
Didn't he? Yeah, I'll be at this run. What's up?
Right.
I'm not going to cower. Same thing for you. He's like, okay, I'll be over here.
Now,
you okay? I'm straight.
Now, hold on. Now, I wasn't no thug always, though, because when it happened, I'm no kidding. I had a moment, and this is when Trish walked into my life, and she pulled me together, because I'll never forget. I walked into the office after the
retire too,
and trust me, she got me, because I'm one of her guest speakers. But she got me and said, I walked into the office now. I went to go see Don Freeborn. He was our Master Chief, or MTD person at the time, military training director person as chief. And I said, he looked at me, he said, what's up? He's like, what's up? What's going on? And I was like in shock, because here I am. I just was working at Mount Trashmore YMCA, teaching spin classes, swim lessons. I was running 5 miles as a warm up before I worked out. I was doing personal training. I was doing all these things. And like, for a woman, your body changes. I didn't know about these changes. Nobody else knows about these changes, right? Your body morphs when you hit that 35 and up. And so that's what I was going through at the time. Didn't know until, a couple years ago. But I was in shock, because how dare me as a whole senior chief, fail a PFA PFA weigh-in. But meanwhile, at RTC, any first class that was there when I was there would tell you, I was always sending out emails to them. Hey, make sure you are taking time for yourself. Hey, make sure you don't forget to study. Hey, make sure I was always sending the first class mess as a whole, encouraging, empowering emails. And then to turn around and have this happen to me? What? And so I was like, I'm going to sit in traffic. Like, I was messed up. And I walked into the office. I was crying. Trish told me to shut the door. And she no-kid looked at me and she said, you're going to pull your head out your ass. You're not going to let these mofos see you cry. You're going to keep your head down. You're going to grind. She's like, you're going to go home and you're going to cry it out. But tomorrow you coming back with your game face. And I was just like, all right, we're going to get this together. And I did.
Is she the person that told you, now that you have a failure, you're going to be in a spotlight? Did she say that? Was that her who said that?
Yeah.
Now that you have a failure, you're going, like, damn. Like
she probably peeled out in her red bands after she said it.
Yeah. That's powerful,
it's the truth, though. Because it's the truth. We do that. Because people want to see, how are you going to handle what just happened? People don't tell you, they just in the bushes lurking. They just looking at your Facebook page all day, trying to see what you are going to be made of. And so I couldn't let them see me give up or quit or get angry, have the angry black woman syndrome, or feel like, forget this place. I can't stand Great Lakes, be on social media talking bad. I wasn't going to do that. So I knew the spotlight was going to be on me. So everything that I did, I would show up. I would keep going. I went to fit. I didn't have no bad blood. I did what I was supposed to do, until the point that when the LCPO position at Golden 13 came open, they were asking my master chief that I was with at the time, how I was working out for him. And he was like, oh, she awesome. I can go on leave. She giving the CO the updates on the medical status of the kids over here. I got nothing to worry about. Like, she's running the petty officers and the chiefs over here in Fit. She's good. And so they were like, bet, we taking her. What? And so.
I was going to say, that's a wild.
I just want to say, too, that spotlight at RTC, like, if you have a slip up, you mess up, you take an infraction, everybody and their mama and their cousin knows it. And it's just, just like crime spotlight just banged on you. Yeah. And it's either you there, like she said, you either, you run or you rise. You could be off in some cut where they don't see you for 3 months, land of broken toys, or you could be on Front Street playing, I'm here, and it's here for judgment, and I'm going to go forward. But controlling your narrative, if you go forward and you do the things, you do need advocates and sponsors. So you control your narrative and you move forward. When your name comes up in rooms you're not in, it's like, what you talking about? Like she just said, oh, he's easy. Well, my thing was going up. It was you, it was Tangela, it was Command Master Frank Dominguez, right? Yep. They're like, no, he's good. Why wouldn't I want him? Let's go. I'll take him every day, twice on Sunday. Let's go. And make it easy. That credibility, you know what I'm saying? So
and one of the dope things about the Navy is if you are resilient and you do work through that stuff, people leave. Like some of the people that had the negative thoughts and opinions, they transfer, and then you get new good people that's trying to make an impact, and they looking around, and I'm thinking more about junior sellers right now, but they looking around and trying to find out who's impactful. And they looking like, yo, who is this seller that's getting all this stuff done, but don't seem like they getting the respect they deserve. And then they interested in you. Their interest start peaking in you like, yo, boom, boom, boom. So that, that's one of the benefits about the fact that it's so much transition in the Navy. Now, it's another small part about the tour, the RDC tour, that this is kind of like my last thought about it was the stuff that happened with Fleet Beldo, right? Shout out to April Beldo, who I have not had the pleasure to personally meet. I was working you, April, for an episode on a podcast about a year. I was don't say again. This segment, man. I gotta exalt. I gotta exalt the moment. I gotta exalt the moment for April because
she could take a joke, man. Trust.
I want her on. So I want her on. So, but I was working it. We were close, and then I stopped because I told her I needed to go to my new command and kind of learn it. This was a command to go, and I honestly just haven't. I don't know why. Like out of every person that put on a pod, I just haven't worked myself up enough to be like, hey, can you please?
What you waiting on?
But I really want it. It's like a dream interview. Yeah, I don't know why. Like I reach out to anybody, but for some reason I'm like,
so it's gonna happen then.
It should.
No, it's gonna happen.
You say I'm like, yo, make it happen. Then. Let's go.
Yeah.
So don't let me you could shoot a text and then make it happen.
Oh, facts. Oh, yeah. Hey, if you're listening, please. I've been trying to work different angles. Like,
can you text her right now? Like, when we get off there?
I've been trying to work the Kingsbury angle, the Kemp angle. I've been trying to work so many angles to get.
Want me to text him too? I'll text him too.
No, I've had both of them on. I have had I talk. They the angles I've been trying to work because one day I could see an episode with like 4 to 5 of them together. So the first time we had Raymond Kemp on, Paul Kingsbury was supposed to be on that episode as like a guest host, but it didn't happen because Paul had something to do. But I've now blossomed a relationship with Paul and a relationship with like a mentor relationship with both of them. Like as I'm the mentee, I'm definitely not their mentor, right? But as I'm the mentee for both Paul and Raymond, so just learning a lot from them and getting a lot of like insight, especially coming into this new role.
Right.
But yeah, if April Beldo could come on, man, and I was trying to get her last time. I was trying to get it in April and April. Hey, April, look, I'm gonna have it laid out for you. Like it ain't a live thing, but if I send some flowers, some snacks, All right. That was my pitch.
Oh my goodness.
We had 240?
Yeah, okay. Oh no, yeah, we had 240, y'all. We just going. But the last part about this, so the April Beldo thing happens and it blooms like some haters and shit. And y'all can read the book to kind of get to that part. But and it just made me think like haters are hate even at the hell and bell. Like a hater will hate you even when you leave and can't come up with like a nice thing to say.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So that built my brand, my thought process, everything that I have today, my inspirational clothing line, everything that I have today came off of that moment in my life. And I'll never forget, here I am getting ready to transfer in February 2017. October of 2016, they wanted to do Hell and Bells. And I'm just like, it's too early. Like, I'm not leaving till February, And they kept asking me if I want to do my Hell and Bell. And I was just like, nah, I'm good. Like, once you show me who you are, I'm good on you. Like, nothing needs to be said. I'm fine, So we were in the chapel at Great Lakes one day. Don't remember what event was taking place while we were there. And myself, Tangela, Cassandra Townsend, and I don't know, the crew. They're my girls, my sisters to this day. We were all, they were trying to convince me to go to this Hell and Bell. And I'm like, I don't want to go. Like, I don't associate, if I know you are not 100% in, or, in my mind, I know what I want to say, but I don't want to say it and be disrespectful. But you weren't real with the situation. You weren't really manly with the situation. And I just couldn't bring myself to be in your presence. I just wanted to stay away from that. And I'll never forget,
I know what you want to say too. I know what you want to say.
Oh my God. Just being
Aaron made a face. Hold up.
I know what you want to say, Courtney. I know what you want to say.
Go ahead. I'm listening. It's one really manly in the situation. Like, didn't handle like a man at all.
All right.
And I'll never forget Ponder. I can't think of his first name. He just came to the command right there.
Rev.
Yeah, he just got to the command.
I got it written down too.
Yeah. And he walked in. Him and Tangela went to the same church in the North Chicago area, so she knew him. And he walked over and she said, Courtney said, you mind if I tell Rev, your situation? Because they were still trying to get me to go to this Hell and Bell. I'm just like, I said, sure, I don't know how. You want there? Go ahead, let's see what Rev got to say. So they tell him the situation, and he had these little wire frame glasses on. And I remember he's sitting there like
doing
this.
the Malcolm X glasses thing sometimes.
Yes. He was sitting there like this, listening to the story. And he pulled the glasses off and he folded them things and stuck them in his pocket. I said, this joke about to preach. I'm like, here we go. Like, I went to church. I'm not churchy, right? I'm not going to be quoting all scriptures out of the Bible, but I do know some. And so he was like, you ever heard the story of Ruth? And I was just like, not really, but go ahead, and so he was telling me, how, Ruth and her mother-in-law were out in the field picking up the scraps after all the workers had been out there, and the king kept seeing them doing this. And he was like, who was the young lady out here just, picking up the scraps and everybody's leaving behind and taking care of the mother and all this stuff, and bring her to me. And then when other females found out, they were like, well, we're out here too every day doing X, Y, and Z. But it wasn't you that he saw. It was the one that was doing everything when y'all was gone out there picking stuff up. So he said, sometimes favor ain't fair and it's unapologetic. Are you upset because you've been favored in your life, or are you upset because he won't apologize? I said, oh, Jesus.
I wrote that down.
I said, I'm not going to apologize for being favored. I'm not going to apologize because I have connections with people that, you would give your left nutsack for. Like, I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm not going to apologize because I've been blessed to have people in my life that have mentored, trained, and guided me to get me to this point in my life. I'm not going to apologize for the people that I know because God has put me in a certain place where my presence has made an impact. And these are people that have surrounded me. I'm not going to apologize for that. So that's where Unapologetically Favored came from. I'm unapologetic about the favor that has been placed on me and bestowed on me in my life. And so that's where my title came from. That's where my branding came from. And did I go to that Hell and Bell? I did. After this, I did. Yeah. And how God showed up in that moment was even more, validation that I needed, because there were like 8 of us leaving, 8 chiefs from the Chiefs Mess leaving. CMC went through everybody, had words of kindness for everybody. Even a guy that he was like, I don't even know you, never really had anything, you must have did your job well because it's like you're a good guy, X, Y, and Z, whatever.
You're swell, feller.
Listen, I was the last one, the very last one to get called up. When I got called up, Izzy's phone rang, and he had to step out to answer the phone call. And so it was like that awkward silence. I'm standing up in front of everybody. I forget, Don Garcia, one of the Massachusetts was standing here beside me, and everybody's just kind of waiting on us to come back. Like, like, what's going on? Awkward silence. So finally, Don was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and say something. So he started speaking. Then there was another senior chief that started speaking and got up and started saying kind words. And he was like, you never meet a stranger. You always make people feel like they're, a part of something, like they're always family. I appreciate you. Then I remember Tracy Chastain stood up. She was going through some things at the time, and she stood up and started telling me things. It was like everybody was popping up one by one. And I was just sitting here going, what is happening right now? Like, what is going on? Like, it was so crazy how it happened. And I remember Izzy walked in, and everybody was like, okay, his CMC's back. And so we were like, asked him if he had any words, and he told me no. I said that. And I went back and I sat down. And so when I sat down, I remember Vicky and Tangela looking at me, and they said, you don't even know what happened, huh? You didn't even see what happened. And I said, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, I was there. I seen what happened. Like, they had nothing to say to me. I was like, they said, no. And that's when they said, God removed him out of the situation so that you could have whatever was supposed to be given to you at that time. And I was just sitting here like, oh my God, like this really just did happen. And, and after that, it was, closure for me. Like, what happened during that time, it happened. Am I angry about it now? No, because without that, again, I would not be here where I'm at right now. And like I tell, anybody who wants to be great in life, even my kids in high school, everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to be great and have this great accomplishment and win and just see this wealth of whatever, for their future. But nobody wants to go through the challenges that are thrown to them in their life. Because as soon as something gets hard, as soon as something becomes a problem, as soon as they see an obstacle, they don't want to go through it. But sometimes them obstacles become your best opportunities to get through it, to get to where you want to be. But we always want to run from everything instead of rising. We just want to face fear and run. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to stick it out the best I can and hope on the other side of it, my reward would be there. And my reward has been there continuously ever since.
Now, the craziest thing about this book, right, is, and that's kind of when I want to stop the line of questioning about the book right here, because I felt like the Great Lakes story was as I'm reading, I'm like, all right, this the end. We hit the climax of the book. It is what it is. This has been good. Whatever's left is going to be a coast down. And, she going to close it out. This how life is now. Found happiness, found love. Right?
Tiff.
But then you go to, I'm not going to get into it, but I want the listeners to read this part because there's some other stuff. Aaron said he had to do better. We close to the 3-hour mark. Yeah. But, we could probably do this forever, I think.
Right.
What happened when you got the Oceana was more impactful in the worst ways and probably some of the best ways later in life, but was more impactful and way worse than anything else, especially as a leader, that I read in that whole book up to that point. So it didn't, and the book wasn't, for the listeners, the book is not like a trauma dump at all. It's a pretty fair, even around the board book. But one of the only one thing that really messed me up about that story, and y'all gotta hear it, it was new. Of course, it was news and all that sad, tragic story that happened. But one of the things that messed me up is when a seller goes to get treatment, and this happened at my command before, and I was on the side of the seller, and I'm glad I was. But when a seller goes to get treatment and they get kicked out the damn treatment, like, how do you kick a seller out of either behavioral or mental health treatment? How do you, like, I can't see myself as a care provider saying like, hey, this person is too whatever to even be here. Like, this is where, without a recommendation of a better place for that person to go.
Right. And it makes me mad. Yeah. That made me mad. And when I think about it, I'm like, there were so many different areas I felt like, had I known then what I've known now, because after going, like when I did the whole Money Be coaching thing, there were so many different things that I picked up on as far as leadership and communicating and connecting with people that I wish I would have had those skills during that time, because I didn't. And there were so many opportunities, so many pockets that, could have been great for catching him, but they weren't. confused, and you always have any kind of experience where you feel like it's traumatic or, it personally affects you. You always think back to like, what could we have done better? What could I have done better? Because then you feel like, okay, how did I play a part in this? Was it my fault? Could I really done anything about it? You probably know the answer, but you still have that guiltiness, especially for the leaders that are passionate, that want to see sailors do good. And not even just for leaders. If you are a decent human being and you care about people, period, you will always have that piece of you that's like, oh my God, where did we fail? Where did we miss the mark? Because I feel like we could have done so much better. And that was the beginning of the downslope.
Yeah, and you spoke on our last episode about just as leaders we get desensitized about certain stuff, and I watch it in real time, even right now in my role, right? I watch it in real time. Other leaders, even myself, at times. But another thing that just happened was, some people would be like, "No, you can't blame yourself," right? It's times I don't tell people that. It's times I don't tell people. It's times I'm like, I understand why you blaming yourself. If I was in your shoes, I'd be blaming myself for some of this too. Whether that's the right thing to say or not. You know what I mean? But I've said that before. Like, oh yeah, well, because some people offer the wrong help. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh no, you can't blame yourself. Like, no. Like,
no, it was your fault. No, you did it. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. No, I don't do it like that. But it's like,
put that track. Stand on that. You gotta
right. Stand on it.
Don't tell me not to blame myself right now. Like, don't tell me offer something, but don't tell me that.
Let me sit on this and think so I could do better next time or help someone else show up.
I don't want to be a next time. It should not have to be a next time. But we are in a situation where
you know what I mean?
It does. But hopefully it won't happen to you more than once. Like, I just
or it don't end like that because we learned from or we could process it way faster. And I think that's what Aaron getting at more so. Like, we gonna catch it, some of those signs earlier. But I just feel for you as a leader having to go through that because it's not just, it's so many different sides to the story.
Right.
From the beginning part, but then, so the beginning part, yes, but then there's also so many more sides to the story after the fallout too. Like the aftermath of it. Like in the recovery aspect of it. And outside of you, it's your sailors, is a victim, is another person that it's not here anymore, is the command, is this, is that.
The chief that had to deal with all of that, and he was a brand new chief and didn't know. He got pinned in September, and this happened in April. Like, when we tell, the new chiefs, this does not come with a handbook. So when we are telling you to network, to ask questions, to read, to get familiar with, not know, you ain't got to know everything 100%, but just get familiar with resources available. Yeah. It's not a game. And because you don't know what's going to happen. And I never in a million years would have thought I'd have an experience like this, and it does something to you. You still carry it because Friday, April 5th, 2019 at 6:45 in the morning will never escape me. I can promise you that. It'll never escape me.
Yeah. And I do want to shout out Paul Kingsbury with the Chief Petty Officer Guide that he keep adding more revisions to. It is a good source of like basic information and some in depth, but a lot of really good information for young chiefs and young first classes is trying to just kind of have something to build off of.
Right.
Those 6 weeks or whatever we do is
that's not enough.
It's great. It ain't enough time though.
That's why you got to train them.
Yeah. We got to start from the beginning, from day one. We didn't start with this, but it is the 200, and we're not going to be here long. I want to do my air horns. People hate the air horns, right? People, and I want to do some claps. So today, that's it. That's it for the claps, y'all.
Sorry, Courtney. Rage meeting went up. Sorry.
No, you good,
right? Is right. If you listening, it's Monday, and it is the 250th birthday of the Navy. I got my hat on. It should be Monday, October 13th. I got my hat on right now, my ball cap. The happy birthday, Navy, a place that changed all of our lives. The three people that's on here hosting and whoever's listening, a place that kind of changed all our lives. So happy birthday and keep changing lives out there.
Happy birthday to y'all.
All right, let's end with some ignorance, maybe. Let's end with a little bit of ignorance.
What we got?
It's a different type of ignorance. But we had a last topic in here, Courtney. We going for 3. We got a couple more minutes. Somebody said Aisha Curry's discourse also has military spouse and mill-to-mill comparisons, right?
Yeah, that was me.
You put that in there? Yeah, I
did.
figured. Aisha Curry. So you got time for this one?
Oh yeah. I don't even know what she did because I don't even follow her. But okay, what she do?
So lay it out. You can lay out. Aaron, I prefer you lay out what Aisha did. I'm gonna fall back. I got my own opinion. It might not be popular to some people. So
okay,
lay it out. We gonna get to it a little bit before we close out.
Let me try to do this. All right. So Aisha Curry on a podcast that was months ago. The host asked her, like, hey, how do you feel in your life right now? And Aisha said, and I'm paraphrasing, I never saw myself having kids. I didn't see myself being married. There are times where I kind of wish I was doing other things.
Mm-hmm.
She never saw that. And then the reaction from a lot of people are, oh, she's ungrateful. Why are you embarrassing Steph like that? Steph Curry, her husband, why are you embarrassing like that? They showed her on different podcasts or different things where she's having fun. She was like, took a picture with Drake or something, right? She took off her ring when they're on the show, like, oh, look, a stripper, So they're saying, why are you talking about this life that you don't have when you were living, you were a kept woman, you have your own adventures, People said that's what she said. She's like, oh, I don't appreciate being married. That's the reception.
But did she say she didn't appreciate being married?
No, she didn't. She
said she loves being a mom.
I'm gonna set the stage a little bit more just for some of the listeners that this is the Call Her Daddy podcast hosted by Alex Cooper, which is most likely it's a top 10 podcast and it's probably a top 5 podcast. Her and Rogan are in rarefied air when it comes to the amount of people that watch the podcast. So this wasn't Aisha on no chump podcast. This Aisha on a podcast that's definitely viewed and viral and seen by many, right? Kamala went to do Alex Cooper. Cardi just did Alex Cooper. So that's that. Yeah. So Aisha said, she said, like she didn't prepare for motherhood. She said, she pretty much got hit with life almost, right? Am I messing up what she said, Aaron? Like she pretty much.
Yeah, she saw herself being, hey, my career, hey, she studied theater. I wanted to be an actress and all the things. She's like, I don't know what my life was. So you got a kid at 21 or 22.
Now, I think with some people's issue, it's a couple things here, right? I think some people issue with Aisha is every time she gets in front of a mic, she says something like this, right? I think that's what some people issue are. Mm-hmm. But for me, my thing is like this. A lot of people, because this happened, and I was talking to Aaron about this. This happened with Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles. They did an interview with somebody. Jonathan said some stuff, and people like, oh, he don't love her like that. He don't appreciate you. And I know why people said that, and they wrong for that. But I ain't gonna get into why people said that. I'm gonna shut up about that. But I know why they said that. But sometimes people don't understand, the married couples communication is way different than y'all single people out there, right? And a lot of single people want to put their either limitations or their fantasies about what it's like to be married onto married couples that might not exist. You put me and my wife in a room and I'm going to say some stuff that might have you with the shock face. We love each other. We talk about, right. We talk about this stuff in the comfort of our home all the time. Now, a mic in front of my face, do I say all the same stuff that I say? No, but that's me. But I just think other people get way too involved in these celebrity relationships and think they got some stock in them.
And I'm just trying to figure out, why are we mad if she's speaking her truth? Why are we mad if she's telling you, hey, I never thought I'd be married to an NBA player who became a celebrity himself. Hell, he probably didn't even think he was going to be as big as he is today because all he just wanted to do was play basketball because that was in his family. That was in it. That's a part of their family's life. Why are we mad because she's saying, hey, I was doing theater or, I never saw myself doing this, or it's not that if that's her truth, then that's her truth. Why are we mad because she's just keeping it real? We want people to be real, and then when they are, we want to sit here and judge them. And like you said earlier, like people have this outlook that celebrity lives are supposed to be so perfect and so dynamic. And why don't you appreciate where you're at? First of all, I never said that. And second of all, maybe because everything's not made for everybody. Maybe, this is not what I really wanted. And after being in it, like, I don't know. I just have an issue with people being so caught up in other people's lives that when they speak their truth, everybody's offended. That just makes no sense to me.
Yeah. You touched on it. What's up, man?
Well, I'm going to say the reason why I think that it relates to the military spouse is because I'll use Amanda, my ex-wife, right? Amanda is incredibly accomplished as a therapist, as a podcaster herself, as a thought leader, right? There's some people that during our time we were married, right? They'll only see her as, oh, that's the CMC's wife, right? Or if you have a husband, a male who is the spouse, right? And you can be leading the business or doing different things. They don't get seen as, their career, and they know they signed up for it, takes a back burner, takes a back seat, to supporting their spouse who is a service member, right? So I think that whenever if a military spouse were to maybe express some of the thoughts that Aisha Curry did in the way she did, they're like, hold up, man, you ain't paying for insurance, nothing. You got this life. You know what you signed up for. Yeah, you could know what you signed up for, but living it is something that is different. You know what I mean? So, do I wish that me personally, she didn't voice some of those things? Yeah, but she said herself on that same podcast, I can't hold water for nothing. You put a microphone, I just can't stop talking. Yeah, that's how some people are. But the full context, she said, I love being a mother. I love my children. She said, Steph knows me. And he's like, why are you tripping? I got you. Yeah. And she said he tries his best to be there for her, to help her, with these feelings. But, it is what it is. It's not she don't hate her husband and her family. It's just, hey, what if? It's a level of FOMO,
Yeah, that's that outside looking in. People have that outside looking in complex too, where like women, like you was talking about Courtney before, where you said the dude to give his left nutsack to do this or to be in this thing, right? But and it's the same way. Like it's like that's you would do this for this. And it's comparative to me, Aaron, when a dude be like, "How could you ever cheat on Holly Berry?" It's like, dude, you ain't been with Holly to know. Yeah, you don't know Holly might have
she might be taxing, bro. Like, what are you asking me now? What?
Yeah, so it's just people looking at something that they think is something, and it ain't what you think it is sometimes.
Right.
And some people use it to knock Steph. Some people use it to knock her. And what if it's just the dynamics of their relationship?
And it works for them. And it works for them. It ain't for us to understand. Yeah. But if it works for them, then all right.
Yeah. And we saw Steph defend her. Killer Mike said something. Steph said, yo, stay in your lane. He said something to Mike. Like, stay in your lane. Yeah.
It's just something crazy.
It works for them. So, man, I feel like people just get, like, the broke people want to be rich. So when we see rich people saying stuff like that, it pisses them off because how dare you? Like, I ain't got it. I wish I could have it. You have it. You ought to be grateful for it. Like, in my mind, that's what I see. And it's like, everything ain't for everybody. You might get over there and be like, nah, I guess she was right. Ain't all that over here. Like, it's like, you don't know if you haven't experienced that. So you can't judge her if you ain't walking her shoes. Like, I ain't got nothing to say. She said, that's how she feel. That's how she feel. I can't invalidate her feelings. I ain't living her life. So,
yeah. Hey, well, look, Courtney, check it out, man. Y'all listeners, get the book. Right. And you got more books too, right? How many books you got?
So I have 3 books total. Unapologetically Favored, A Woman, a Leader, a Testimony. I have Wake Up, Turn Up, Bless Up, Beautiful Inspirations for Her, which is a motivational book, like a Daily's Digest of, motivational daily reads that you can read. And then Never Be Afraid to Eat Alone, Own Your Power and Level Up. That one is actually, it has like homework in there, different questions that you have to answer. What brings you happiness? What do you need to heal from? Who do you want to apologize to? Just to kind of have you do some self-reflection, just one-on-one. And I also
Can I
have
get a signed book, please? Just saying.
always. And then I have my website. You can find out everything about me, listen to my podcast, my radio shows, all that stuff that I had on unapologeticallyfavored.com. And if you need me for speaking engagements, I do have that as well. Contact information on my website as well. So, yeah,
man, I think you might. That I saw you do a speaking engagement somewhere recently, man. And whatever place that place was beautiful. Like that.
It was a church. I believe it or not, it's a church in Hampton. It was nice.
Kamala was coming up after you in that. I'm like, man, that's a nice place.
Yeah, a whole church.
Ain't playing out here.
Yeah, it was good. It's like I've always doing speaking engagements, so I don't mind. So yeah, all the information is there. Check it out.
What's next?
Well, I do have. I have a fourth book. I like two different things, and I'm kind of ping ponging back in my mind with re-releasing my third book, and then finishing up a no kidding journal workbook that I've kind of had for like the last, I'm gonna say, like 3 or 4 years, just marinating. You look at things, it's like I want to tweak and peek it just to make sure it makes sense and that it's meeting people where they're at. And so yeah, those two things I'm kind of marinating on right now. But no, just doing what I do. ROTC, high school, that's the dream job after the Navy. I did military in general. If you can catch on to that, I highly encourage it because these young people, they're hungry.
Right?
Telling you, that's 6'7", baby. That thing, I don't know what that is, but I got them on it. 6'7", I don't know.
Funny out there, man.
Hey, Tiff, and I need to holler at Tiff because some of the chief merch and things she be making, I got to holler at Tiff, man.
Yeah, let her know. Send her a message. Yeah, she'll definitely do some stuff. I don't think she's working on anything right now, but yeah, she's always doing something. If it's a challenge, she's going to make it work.
Yeah.
I got one more question for you before we close. But before that, I want to say this. My pick of the week, real quick. Hey, grab that Mobb Deep album, y'all. Listen to that Mobb Deep album.
Mobb Deep?
Yeah. Produced by Havoc, one of the best hip hop producers ever. Mm-hmm. And Alchemist, another of the best hip hop producers ever. It just dropped. Check out that Mobb Deep album. My last question before we wrap is this. You had a lot of like pivot points in your life, like a lot of pivotal moments, a lot of them. Which one do you go back to the most?
I think my being at Recruit Training Command. Because before that, you're a new chief. You're still trying to find your footing, still trying to figure out who you are as a leader, who you want to be as a leader. You have examples. And so you pick and pull from what you've experienced with those leaders into, how you feel like what you want to give people. But it's not until you get 60, 70, 80, 105 innocent individuals looking to you because you are now the leader and you have to figure out how you are going to get all these people from different walks of life, different beliefs, different life experiences to come together as a unified front with the same common goal to graduate, to be good, to be successful, and help them realize and maximize the potential and break through their limited beliefs. And once I figured that piece out and how to do it and getting the feedback that what I was doing was no kidding working because either somebody said, thank you, you're the reason why I can keep going on. It wasn't until I got to that command that I realized, maybe my presence has a purpose. And I believe my purpose is to no kidding be a sounding board for some, a motivator for some, and then just to empower other kids and other people in general, now kids, but to empower people to push beyond what they thought they could do, like what they couldn't do, because we are sometimes, what was all my saying? Oh my goodness, I can't think of it right now, but like, don't block your blessing. Sometimes we block our own blessings and we don't even realize it until somebody pushes you and you're like, oh my God, I could do this. And be their cheerleader. So yeah, RTC was my pivotal moment.
Yeah. And for the listeners, we owe y'all another conversation with Courtney. So we going to amass 10 hours at some point soon because it's a whole nother part about your story that I didn't dig into at all. And that's the fact that I think through damn near most of your career, you had some stressor going on in your life outside of work. And just and then Great Lakes, of course, involved inside of work and some outside of work. And like just what got you through? And we ain't gonna get into it now because I want to get you back on again one more time. So like, what got you through and all that? So we're gonna talk about that. But hey, thanks for sitting with us for 3 hours. I totally appreciate it. I think we had a really good conversation. And you it's open door policy. You can come whenever you want to come. You come.
Let me know. I'll be here.
Yeah. You want to get your shit off about something. You want to go in about something like Aaron did earlier. Whatever it is you want to do, you got full, whenever you want to do it. So we love and appreciate you over here. And thank you for,
definitely.
Spending time with us.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Aaron.
Hey, Aaron, can you close us out, man? Like I think it'd be pretty cool if you kind of close us out.
Thank you for your service.